Virginia Cavaliers and the Miami Hurricanes on this a very historic night, a night of undistilled emotion for the Miami Hurricanes and their loyal following. After 468 games here at the Orange Bowl, after 71 seasons, they will close their doors on the Miami Hurricanes chapters after tonight. And more importantly for the Hurricanes, Bob Davie, this game to become bowl eligible as well. First down and 10, actually second down and 10 for Miami. They work out of the shotgun, Javaris James. And James got about 4 yards on the play. Clint Stenham with the stop for Virginia. Big picture on this game as Miami comes in with a record of 5-4. 2-3 in conference play. Virginia, meanwhile, is at 8-2 and 5-1 in the Coastal Division.
Mark, you mentioned it. Miami fighting for not only a winning season, but a chance to go to a bowl game. If they win tonight, they are bowl eligible, but it doesn't get any easier after this because they go to Virginia Tech and Boston College. So a huge game tonight for Miami.
They're looking at 3rd down and 6, and for the Hurricanes, their starting quarterback is back taking snaps. That would be Kyle Wright. Missed last week with knee and ankle injuries. Completes this pass, though, right near midfield at the 49-yard line. Lance Leggett making the catch. Leggett, the former track star, a.k.a. Spider-Man to his teammates, but not enough for the first down. 4th down coming up. They'll punt. Vic Hall is back deep for the Miami Hurricanes, and Bosher punting for Miami. Matt Bosher standing at his own 36. Gets off a booming spiral. And for the Cavaliers, Hall decoys the punt return team, but not quite enough as they'll down this at about the 4-yard line. McCarthy, the starting linebacker, Colin McCarthy, hustling downfield to make the play. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davies. Stacey Dale's down in the field joining us in just a few moments. Bob, we were walking around outside on 14th Avenue and 7th Street, and there was tangible emotion tonight as you saw the fans with their colors tonight, the orange and green, talking about this being the last game at the Orange Bowl.
Mark, you are right. There's some emotion in this stadium, and when you think about the Orange Bowl on a Saturday night, you think about all the success the Miami Hurricanes have had in this building.
5 national championships. They've played 468 games here, and the defense stout on that play. Simpson on the carry, stopped for no gain on the play. Mykel Simpson, who really over the last 3 games for Virginia has emerged as one of the stellar pieces, stellar cogs of that offense. Simpson, a former wide receiver, he was number 4 on the 2 deep. We couldn't find him on our depth chart, Bob, a few weeks ago at the University of Maryland, a game in which he emerged to win the game almost single-handedly for Virginia.
You're right. Maryland didn't know anything about him going in, but they know number 5 now.
Sewell completes the pass wide open to his tight end, Santee, who's still on his feet, but pushed out of bounds around the 30-yard line.
The pass is complete to Thompson.
The 1996 ACC Player of the Year, Tiki Barber, knows how to break down the Cavaliers' offense, presented by XM.
Virginia offense. Cavalier tailback Mykel Simpson is not a secret anymore. In his last 3 games, he's gained 500 total yards and scored the game's winning touchdowns. This is the 2nd consecutive year the offensive line has played as a unit. They have a combined 126 career starts led by Ian Yates Cunningham and Brandon Albert. Wahoo wah.
Could use a little more emotion on that wahoo thing as Simpson now on the screen pass, well executed and close to another first down at the 38-yard line. And Bob, you heard Tiki Barber talk about how Simpson emerged. What do you make of his skills in the last 3 weeks?
Mark, really remarkable. I mean, he's kind of a combination wide receiver, running back. He has 55 carries on the year, 30 catches now. And really, as you mentioned, started the season the 4th tailback. Came out of nowhere against Maryland. And I think Mike Rowe, the offensive coordinator, does a tremendous job taking advantage of his talents as both a wide receiver and a running back.
Cedric Pearman and Andrew Pearman both injured, so Simpson the guy now in the backfield, and here he is again on the move. Simpson inside the 35 to the 33-yard line, and another Cavalier first down, shredding that Hurricane defense. Simpson picked up 29.
Mark, the thing Virginia does a great job is pulling these linemen. You look right here at big Eugene Monroe right here. Monroe pulling around. Very athletic, very big. And then Michael Simpson continues to be productive now.
That's a real-life Rudy story. But the guys up front doing a nice job. Sewell, little play action, under duress, and how did he get away? Oh, Houdini's in the house tonight. We talked about Jamil Sewell during our meetings, Bob, his elusive nature, and that time it came in play. Picked up a few yards on the play.
And you can see right now what Jamil Sewell is all about. Daryl Sharpton has a shot at him and misses him. And then you see the athletic ability. He needs to go ahead and tuck that football away, Mark. But you see why he is the quarterback at Virginia. They don't have a lot of weapons offensively. They need the quarterback to create plays and make plays with his legs.
Yeah, his play has really been symbolic and epitomizes how far this team has come from the first game of the season that they lost against Wyoming. Simpson stopped up at the line of scrimmage by Willie Cooper, the starting free safety, a gain of 1 on the play. 1990 Outland Trophy winner Russell Maryland introducing the Hurricane defense.
Causing a havoc up front will be defensive end Calais Campbell. With 71 tackles and 5 sacks, he's a strong All-American candidate. Hey, I should know. Tavares Gooden has done well starting in the middle for the Canes. He leads the team with 83 tackles. The secondary is led by Kenny Phillips. Kenny. He's the most experienced with 30 career starts. Now let's go Canes.
It's all about the U.
All about those defensive linemen. Have there been some defensive linemen at Miami?
It is a very long list and rich lineage of All-Americans and NFL players. Timeout called on the play by Virginia. So far this drive has kind of taken a little bit of the emotion out of the Hurricane fans here, and the familiar sweatshirt worn by Al Groh, his team has been a monument to clutch play so far this year.
I'm Chad Johnson, and I am a GoDaddy customer. As the world's #1 receiver, I want to be with the world's #1 domain registrar, and that's GoDaddy. Whenever I'm not working out, you can find me working on my website. GoDaddy has everything you need to get online. .com names, website builders, hosting, email, you name it. GoDaddy. GoDaddy. .com name for just $1.99. Go get yours and tell them Ocho Cinco sent you.
Buy my new game.
Dad, buy me this new video game. Krusty said you have to.
Video games are so fake. How can you die 1,000,000 times and still be okay?
Want a health pack?
Okay, you can have the game.
Sweet.
I still say games are fake.
The Simpsons game, rated T for teen.
PlayStation 3, starting at $399.
This is my client. He had a choice, relocate or retire. He didn't want to relocate and didn't think he could retire. So we ran several scenarios through our Envision process. He determined he could retire after all, comfortably. He gave his boss the news. Next day, my phone rings. It's his boss. Guess who else wants to retire? I'm with Wachovia.
Find out your options. Go to envisionyourgoals.com.
It's just a wiper on the BMW X5. It does what a wiper should do. But this one is different. This wiper talks. You see, when it starts to rain, it tells the brakes to begin drying. And drier may help keep you safer. A wiper that talks. That says a lot. Just one of the countless ideas that makes our X5 an ultimate driving machine.
Smarter and sleeker. Now with real-time turn-by-turn GPS navigation. It has the intelligence you require with the beauty you desire. The all-new BlackBerry Curve from AT&T, the world's leading provider of BlackBerry service. In new colors, titanium and red. AT&T, your world delivered.
This ESPN2 telecast is available in striking high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro. The lights of the OB in El Barrio, the neighborhood, 14th Avenue and 7th Street, Dade County, Miami, Florida. The last home game here for the Hurricanes. Sewell to pass on 3rd down. He completes it to Maurice Covington on the move. Touchdown, Virginia. That's a conversion on 3rd down. A stunned silence. A pall hanging over the Orange Bowl after that touchdown by Covington.
And Mark, how about the 101st ranked offense in the country just took that football the length of the field? That was an impressive drive by the Virginia Cavaliers now.
Well, if there was any question as to whether this Cavalier team would be even the slightest intimidated by the atmosphere, Maurice Covington's answer is, hey, if you don't know, now you know, and you better ask somebody. Sewell with his 11th touchdown pass of the season.
Dougie. What? Have you seen how easy GoDaddy.com is?
Huh?
Yeah, I just bought you for $1.99.
Did not.
Yeah, I did.
Dog nabbit.
Whoops, just did your dog.
Mr. Winky? My wife loves Mr. Winky.
Ah, now I'm gonna do your wife.
It's your mother.
You know I'm gonna do your mother now.
Too late. I already did my mother.
Pervert.
Every hero has a choice. Yours is which 3 toppings? Introducing Papa John's Superhero XL3 Pizza. Your choice of any 3 toppings. And 30% larger than our large. It's a super value at just $12.99. Including a $3 off coupon for Spider-Man 3 on DVD. Call or order on the web.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Comfortable in jeans that are tough. I'm comfortable in jeans that fit great. I'm comfortable in Wrangler.
Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Built tough with 14-ounce heavyweight denim. Built comfortable with a stone-washed finish and relaxed fit. Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Satisfaction guaranteed. Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
We'll be in the garage.
Cool.
Trade up, NASDAQ. Trade up, NASDAQ.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by GoDaddy.com, world's #1 in .com domains. Make a .com name with us. And in part by Papa John's. Watch your favorite teams with your favorite pizza. Call or click papajohns.com.
Look at Mango's downtown on Ocean Drive here in South Beach. Bob, I heard you out there this morning blazing, man. They couldn't even take a picture of you. You're running so fast. Getting you running.
Now, wait a second. Make sure you say running, jogging on the beach. I don't want to come right out of that shot of that club.
And here on the kick return, it's McNeil. And McNeil collared back at the 24-yard line. Let's go back to Stan Verrett for the SportsCenter in-game update.
Bob Davie breaking curfew. Who knew? For the 9th time this season, the top 5 team loses to an unranked opponent, but this time it's #1. Illinois and Ohio State. Juice Williams to Marcus Wilkins. 4 touchdown passes for Williams. Todd Beckman, meanwhile, 3 interceptions. The Buckeyes' 18-game home streak, 28-game regular season streak, and 20-game Big Ten streak, all done. And we're going to have a new #1 guy.
Boy, Stan, Ron Zook has really done an incredible job there at Illinois. His program really turning the corner. Flag thrown on the play on the run by Darnell Jenkins, who lined up to take that direct snap. Bob, that's something that they've run quite a bit over the last several weeks. It's going to be a holding call against the Hurricanes. They'll move Jenkins around quite a bit, use him as a wide out, get him in the slot a little bit, and you saw there on the direct snap.
Mark, this Miami offense is really struggling
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Penalty against Jason Fox. Bob, you talked about the numbers not maybe where they should be. A lack of continuity this year on offense for Miami, among other things.
No, Mark, I think they're really struggling to find an identity. And anytime the bottom line, you don't have a quarterback truly emerge, that's what happens to you offensively. But the numbers don't lie. 91st in total offense, 76th in scoring, 108th in passing offense. And Randy Shannon, a defensive coach by nature, by trade.
Patrick Nix, the first-year offensive coordinator. Kyle Wright now on first down and 20. Delivers it complete to DeLeon Farr, the tight end. And Farr gets back to the original line of scrimmage right around the 35-yard line. And Russell Maryland introducing the Hurricane offense.
The offense is led by senior quarterback Kyle Wright, who returns from an ankle injury. He'll look to Darnell Jenkins as a deep threat. The O-line will be tested tonight against one of the best pass rushers in the nation. Senior guard Derek Morris is the most experienced with 26 career starts. Now it's all about the U, baby.
We got you, Russell. Hand off to the fullback that time, Jarrell Mabry. The 271-pounder out of Georgia got about 3 yards. And here's New York Giants all-time rushing leader and Virginia grad Tiki Barber with the Cavaliers defense.
Virginia defense. The front line is led by ACC sack leader Chris Long. He needs just 4 sacks to break the school's single-season record of 15. Junior linebacker John Copper started his UVA career as a walk-on. He's come a long way. For the last 2 seasons, he's led the team in tackles. In the secondary, sophomore Vic Hall was a standout quarterback in high school, but now he's an effective cornerback and special teams threat. Wahoo!
They use a little pressure, and it's intercepted by the aforementioned Vic Hall, as if on cue from Tiki Barber. Off the hands of Mabry, and the Cavaliers again in prime field position at the 35-yard line. That's Virginia's 8th interception of the season.
Mark, you're going to see right here, the ball goes right off the hands of Mabry, the fullback right there. Then the interception by Vic Hall. Boy, Miami continues to struggle. Last week, 1 for 14. Mark, 1 completion in the whole football game against NC State. The problems continue.
And now, as a result, Virginia football at about the 36-yard line. Sewell with the play fake, sold it well. Covington on the post, and it's picked off. Miami takes it right back. The Hurricanes' Randy Phillips with the interception, and it's Hurricane football on the turnover. For Phillips, his 3rd of the season.
Mark, one thing Miami's always going to do, they're going to play bump and run, man-to-man coverage. You watch Bruce Johnson right here, and then he gets free safety help. He funnels that football inside, and Randy Phillips, the junior safety, comes up with the interception. The other thing Miami's known for, defensive linemen, and then also press man-to-man corners. They will get up and cover you now.
Got some speedy corners. This is Craig Cooper, true freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee, with his first carry of the ball game. Cooper actually the team's leading rusher. He'll rotate in the backfield with various backs, including Javaris James and McNeil. Gained about a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9, and Chris Long ready to make his presence.
They've already ripped that jersey now. This guy will get held, I promise you. They've already torn a chunk out of that jersey.
You think that's how it happened, huh?
No question, man.
Under 5.5 minutes to go on 2nd down and 9. Right, incomplete at the 32-yard line, intended for number 82, Kane Farquharson.
Mark, we saw that shot of Chris Long. I know you agree with this. At least he ought to be invited to New York this year for the Heisman presentation.
Get him a plane ticket immediately. We saw him against Maryland 3 weeks ago, and he was a terror up front. Several sacks, tackles for loss, stops.
Well, in a year where there's no definitive Heisman guy, right? There should be a defensive player that has impacted games like this guy in New York.
Kyle Wright picked off underneath by Copper, the former walk-on, with the second interception for the Cavalier defense already here in the first quarter play.
Yeah, Mark, you got great pressure from Clint Sinham, number 51, a linebacker who's also an excellent pass rusher. Right here, you're going to see late. And then John Cooper, as you mentioned, the walk-on linebacker, comes up with the interception.
It almost appeared, Bob, as if Kyle Wright locked in on Darnell Jenkins, and Copper was there the entire way to make the second interception of the season for him. A smattering of boos showering down on Kyle Wright, the senior, one of 21 seniors playing the final home game here at the Orange Bowl, as it is for every Hurricane. Calais Campbell making a stop, a loose ball. It apparently came loose, but they're going to say second down for the Cavaliers. Calais Campbell making the stop from his defensive end position. You know, we got two great defensive ends in this game, Bob, between Campbell and Chris Long.
No question, Mark. And different style players. You know, Chris Long, more of a two-gap, who also will rush the passer, but Calais Campbell, a guy that plays strictly on the edge and rushes up the field for Miami.
Chris Long got the war paint on. Looks like one of those former Road Warriors. And Campbell making the tackle. Speaking of Road Warriors and wrestlers, we're going to have a former wrestler in the booth coming up in the second quarter. Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock. He was rocking the house in some of the pregame introductions, Bob. Really got the crowd here at the OB whipped into a frenzy. Well, not as if they needed any help.
You know, he frenzied them up. But Virginia took that football 96 yards the first time they touched it, brought them back to a reality.
Approaching 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. A turbulent beginning for the home team Hurricanes. Flags down on the play. Sewell under some duress. And he's sacked, and it's a fumble. The Hurricanes have it. McCarthy's going to take it into the end zone, but will it stand?
Mark, that's going to come back. Vegas Franklin, the left defensive end, was offsides for Miami.
There was movement up front. Franklin did move. I guess the question becomes, was he pulled offside or not? They're going to talk it over.
Well, we're going to get a chance to take a look at it. Yeah.
This one will come off the boards.
Watch at the top of the screen. Clearly, Vegas Franklin. Yeah, Mark.
Bob, you said earlier, too, you duly noted that Sewell should be carrying the ball a little bit higher and tighter on one of those earlier runs. There he put it on the ground.
A little bit reckless with that football, but boy, right now, if you're Miami, mental toughness on defense. After a big turn of emotion like that, you have to go back and play defense right now.
Something that Randy Shannon has tried to instill in his entire team throughout his first year, his inaugural voyage here as head coach. The former linebacker on the national championship team, Randy Shannon, has basically put jobs up for grabs every week, and it has really inspired a sense of competition amongst the team. Right now trailing by a touchdown. Sewell in the pocket and sacked back at the 34-yard line. They got him again, and Vegas Franklin atoning for the offside penalty.
Mark, you talk about a great effort. You said it. Vegas Franklin just kept on coming that time around the horn. Just a tremendous effort.
The defense has never been an issue at Miami.
Mark, watch the top of your screen. You talk about effort. I mean, Vegas Franklin ran a long way for that one now.
And into punt now. That was the 6th sack of the season for Franklin. And Ryan Wigand into punt for Virginia, standing around midfield on Miami's side of the 49-yard line. Gold with the punt. He'll try and place this inside the 10. Instead, it bounces into the end zone. And a net of just 15 yards on that punt. Franklin, hey, what stays with Vegas stays with Vegas.
It's alive inside. Please drink responsibly.
Carl, remember what I told you about the BizHub?
Carl, it's not out to get us. Why
You're
are you
so naive. Look at the color on this document.
Right. The BizHub has this high-def color technology, so the colors always
Exactly. The color's amazing. Don't you see it? Your BizHub is getting ready to duplicate anything. Even one of us.
Amazing color and functionality from Konica Minolta. That's business by design. See it at bizhub.tv.
If you enjoy the warmth of a crackling fire, but hate the aches and pains of splitting wood by hand, I'd like to introduce you to the DR electric-powered wood splitter, a new, safer, easier, and far more enjoyable way to split wood. The DR wood splitter combines the convenience of electricity with the power of hydraulics to split the toughest logs, up to 16 inches thick. The DR wood splitter is quiet and easy to use anywhere. And because there's no gas, oil, or fumes, you can even use it indoors, in the comfort of your garage or basement. Seeing is believing. Send for our catalog to find out more.
Try out the DR electric wood splitter in your own home for 6 months risk-free. Call 1-800-815-5981 for your free catalog and DVD. That's 1-800-815-5981. Online at drwoodsplitter.com.
DR is professional power for homeowners.
Third and a long 5. Heading to the end zone and very close to it was Dean Steinkuhler. He's in for a touchdown. This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
Well, that game most noted for its fumblerooski, and this is Greg Cooper running the ball. Got about 4 on the play. Cooper making the stop.
Mark, you talk about great moments. How about Miami? 5 national championships in this building. Had a 58-game winning streak. They went from 85 to 94. Almost 10 seasons. Never lost a game.
Unbelievable.
And the mystique of Miami football. I mean, this building on a Saturday night is a big part of this mystique. Now, there's some flavor in this building, isn't there?
It certainly has filled up tonight, bursting at the seams. Kyle Wright downfield, and Jenkins partially had it, and now it's ruled incomplete. At the 45-yard line, knocked loose on the play nicely by Chris Cook, was in on the stop, and Darnell Jenkins couldn't hang on to it.
Mark, at some point, these Miami wide receivers have to go ahead and make a play. I mean, Darnell Jenkins, their #1 receiver, needs to make that play because right now, Kyle Wright needs some help.
Jenkins, the team's leading receiver, Bravo. The only one that's caught a pass, a long pass this year, I guess you could say. He's their big home run hitter.
Yeah, Mark had an 84-yard touchdown catch for the only completion of the game last week against North Carolina State.
Right? You know what? He's going to need some help from his fellas. That was Mabry on the drop. And that one certainly isn't on Kyle Wright. And that's a young guy, a senior this year, that has endured a lot of criticism from various parties on his performance. 9 touchdown passes versus 9 interceptions on the season. You go back to 5 seasons ago, he was the highest recruited high school quarterback coming out at the time.
And that quarterback's always the easy target. But they'll block that punt.
They did. Blocked out of bounds down to the 4-yard line. Number 25, Josh Seidenberg, got in and made a special teams play, a gem. And another play goes against the Hurricanes here at home.
And Josh Seidenberg, number 25, Mark, he lines up and beats number 86 right there from Miami. Ross Abramson, the long snapper. The toughest block is for that center, that deep snapper, when you have a guy right on his nose.
Boy, he took it right off of Bosher's toe with his right hand. And you talk about room service field position. Boy, Bosher is red hot. Something or somebody broke down. Keith Payne in the backfield. They go small, medium, and large, and this is large on the carry, but larger with the stop. Daryl Sharpton from his weak side linebacking position making the play for the Hurricanes.
Mark, watch the center right here after he snaps his football, how tough this is. You snap the football, then it's man-to-man blocking on the guy lined up right on your nose. The guard has to sink and just help that center a little bit by body position. Don't leave that center on an island. That's too hard.
As a result of that block, looking at 2nd and goal from the 5 now. This is Payne again, trying to get to the edge, and touchdown, Cavaliers. Keith Payne converts on the block punt. Has a little message for the friends of his wearing orange and green in the end zone, the west end zone.
And Mark, this left guard, Brandon Albert, watch right here at 6'7", 310 pounds. You talk about a big NFL-style lineman. Watch right here. I mean, that's not the most aggressive block, but that's 310 pounds in your way out there in the open field.
Kenny Phillips wasn't about to try and take that on head-to-head. For Payne, it was his 2nd rushing touchdown this season and of his career, and the silence here at the Orange Bowl is deafening right now. Off the turnover now, it's 14-0. The previous touchdown, Bob, they marched it 96 yards down the field. We were talking about it during the pregame ceremonies and all the festivities with the fans. They were jumping up and down. Former players down in the field, luminaries down in the field. You made a good point. You said, as a coach, you've got to be careful. What do you mean by that?
Well, no question, Mark. When you rise to that kind of emotion before the ball's ever snapped, you got to be careful of someone bursting the balloon, bursting the bubble. Virginia did that. All the air came out of the balloon on that 96-yard drive. But the reality right now, these Miami players, you talk about peer pressure. When you start talking about 5 national championships, going 10 years without losing in this building, there's a bunch of former NFL Miami players out there watching. A lot of pressure on this team right now to finish on a positive in this building. And they've lost 2 straight in the Orange Bowl.
They certainly have, and overall they have lost 3 of their last 4 games. Cooper getting on the phone looking for help from some source. Kyle Wright hasn't gotten much help back after sustaining injuries a couple of weeks ago. On the kickoff return, it's Ryan Hill brought down just across the 20-yard line. And for more on Kyle Wright, let's go downstairs to Stacey Dales.
Well, you are absolutely right, Mark. He might need some help in this football game. I spoke to him this week. Remember, he had the stretched left tendon on the back of that knee and a high ankle sprain to the same leg. And he really didn't practice last week. Did some light drop back stuff. Actually returned to full practice with the team on Tuesday. But he told me at that point he was extremely sore. He was not 100%. And guys, here's the important thing. He had trouble transferring his weight even on Tuesday. So you have to wonder, guys, how mobile is Kyle Wright?
Yeah, Stacey, they're going to have to really do a great job of protecting him tonight. So far, Chris Long hasn't been able to get a hit on him. Here's Javaris James with a nice cutback move. Javaris James across the 25. James, the cousin of former Miami Hurricane Edgerrin James. And we talked about the inefficiency of the offense last week. Kirby Freeman went 1 of 14.
And you have to wonder right now the mindset of Kirby Freeman. Does he have any confidence? Does the coaching staff, his teammates, have any confidence in him? But at some point, Kyle Wright or whoever the quarterback is needs some help, Mark, because there's been some drop balls in this football game.
And last week, Kirby Freeman completed more passes to North Carolina State than he did to Miami. Here's Javaris James getting to the edge. James powering close to the first down and dragged out of bounds right at that first down marker. Talked about Javaris James being the cousin of Edgerrin James, and he has certainly inherited Edgerrin's staunch work ethic from Immokalee, Florida. They have a workout facility out there, Bob, just off of I-75. They call it the Fun House. It's got a video game room, full court basketball, all the weights that you'd ever want to lift, and Edgerrin has a set of keys that he uses often to get into the place and work out.
Well, this guy squats over 500 pounds. They say he has a chance to be the next great Miami back.
And that's saying a lot. The lights at the Orange Bowl in the shadows of South Beach. Back in Dade County right after this.
The 49ers battle the Seahawks at 8:30 on ESPN Monday Night Football.
Cool, crispy melt pizza.
Yep, melted cheese between two crispy crusts.
Wait, crispy and melty? That's two completely different things.
I know. You got one thing, then boom, something totally different.
Yeah, and then back again. Two things in one, like in
perfect harmony.
Uh-huh.
Domino's new Crispy Melt Pizza. Melted cheese and a topping between two crispy crusts. Get a medium for just $9.99. Call or order online.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Rogue. With our intuitive all-wheel drive system that reacts to the road in 1/10 of a second. And a fuel-efficient 27 miles per gallon. It's a whole new crossover from Nissan. The all-new Nissan Rogue. Game on.
Our motto is that others may live. Steph Sergeant Ivan Ruiz, pararescueman in the United States Air Force. I learned about this job, I think, when I was a sophomore in high school, and that's pretty much it. I was fortunate enough to do some work in Katrina. It's a pretty good feeling. Obviously, we don't get any trophies here. You know, that's not what it's about for us. The best thing about my job is my brothers. That's why I'm here.
See more videos at DoSomethingAmazing.com.
Bring your favorite team home with Glidden Team Colors Paint, the true colors of true fans. Team Colors Paint, exclusively from Glidden and only at the Home Depot.
Under the lights at the Orange Bowl, I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Stacey Dales. Virginia leading Miami 14-0. Kyle Wright pulling the trigger. And it's incomplete, intended for Darnell Jenkins at midfield at the 49-yard line. And it has been a struggle offensively for first-year head coach Randy Shannon and his team.
Well, Mark, I know what Randy Shannon's going through right now. You know, he's a defensive coach. He coached his whole career on defense. All of a sudden, he's the head coach, and they're really struggling on offense. And it's hard to solve the problems when you've never actually coached offense. So you rely totally on your offensive coordinator and your staff, and it's a little bit of a frustrating feeling because it's out of your hands to some degree.
Here they go on second down. They run it with Javaris James. James gets about 3 yards on the play. And Randy Shannon really calling on a lot of the former Hurricanes to try and keep this thing together. You speak of Kyle Wright and some of the struggles he's had this year at the position. It's not unusual for Kyle Wright to field phone calls from guys like Bernie Kosar and Gino Torretta, Jim Kelly, those type of guys, and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson offering support. 3rd down and 9 coming up.
You better find number 91, Chris Long, right now. He's lined up over the guard inside.
Wright fires over the middle, incomplete, and picked off again for the 3rd time. Number 22, Glaspie with the pick this time, and another case of larceny. They come up with a pinch and in good field position once again.
And Mark, that's the 3rd interception of the night. Again, it's off a self-deflected pass. Lance Leggett, the wide receiver, coming over the middle, is open. Really a pretty decently thrown ball by Kyle Wright. Lance Leggett should have made that interception. He's made that play, but Byron Glaspie comes up again with another tip ball.
The first tip went for an interception on Kyle Wright, and that thing could not have bounced any worse for Miami. Coming back the other way now, 1st down and 10. Just outside the 20-yard line. Sewell. And a blitz coming, and Sewell wisely throws it away. He was outside the pocket, and there, hence the flag. Sewell has been really clutch for them this year.
You're right. They may wave that flag off because I thought initially he was outside the pocket, which means you can throw the football away.
He seemed to be outside that box. Sewell tough to get a handle on. He's pretty mobile.
Mark, let's look where 61 aligned. Yeah, he's outside the box. I think they'll wave that flag off.
Now they're going to pick this one up.
There was a receiver in the area. There was a receiver in the area. No foul. Second down.
Yeah, they ruled there was a receiver, a potential receiver in the area. But so important for this Miami defense right now because the reality is Miami is a running team, Mark, on offense. And they cannot fall behind 3 scores here early.
It's looking very much like the North Carolina game where they fell behind early. Sewell trying to escape pressure again, tippy-toeing out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Bob, one thing we haven't talked about is the fact that this Virginia team has been bad on you if you got a bad heart. I mean, they are cardiac kids. They have won 5 games this season by 2 points or less. Their last 3 consecutive wins have been by 1 point, a single point.
Yeah, you know, Mark, if you do something one time or maybe even twice, they might say you're lucky.
Right.
But if you do it 5 times, that's pretty good coaching, isn't it? And I think Al Groh, seriously, he ought to be up for some Coach of the Year awards.
Definitely.
And when you think about they started this season getting blown out in Laramie, Wyoming to the Wyoming Cowboys.
Incredible turnaround, and as you say, a good coaching job as Sewell calls a timeout. Virginia uses one more of its timeouts. And we talk about some of the stars in the booth, well, on the field and now in the booth, and the Hurricane family. It is a very large and extended, galvanized and tight-knit family. And one of those guys on hand tonight, Dwayne Johnson, former lineman with the University of Miami Hurricanes. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Bob. Good seeing you guys.
What gives with tonight's performance so far? What do you say to him?
You know, what I think right now is happening, obviously the team is playing tight right now, and there's a lot of emotion happening. I mean, this is a very special game. It's a very unique game. This is a game they've been thinking about literally probably since the moment for months now that we knew that the Orange Bowl was going to close down after this game. So it's memorable. There's a lot of emotions. They just have to settle down and play football the way they know how to.
All right. One thing we know, that tape never lies. And we've got some tape of you when you played here in Miami we're going to look at. So I know sometimes those sacks and those stories get bigger and bigger the longer you're away from it. Of course. We're going to find out here in a minute.
That pass complete to Tom Santee. Picked up a few yards. While the University of Miami football program did not openly recruit Dwayne, he entered tryouts as a walk-on for the program and made the team, playing defensive tackle in '91. He was part of the Hurricanes national title team right there, putting one on Charlie Ward.
It was after that sack that Charlie whispered to me, I'm going to play basketball. I remember that then.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. You played here in the glory days of Miami. Miami always known for a lot of swagger, a lot of style, intimidation on the field. Talk about the fine line Randy Shannon is walking right now. Trying to be, in some ways, more disciplined, not allowing celebration compared to the swagger that you used to have.
Well, I think that's a great point. And therein lies the great challenges that Randy Shannon has to face, that he's embraced also, by the way. So, you know, with the teams of the past, we were big on swagger, big on talking trash, big on winning. Right. But there is a way to win. It's proven there's a way to win, obviously, without the swagger. I think the great thing about Randy Shannon, and Randy was my coach when I was here, he's a great communicator. And there's a level of trust that you can find with Randy Shannon that it's going to take time for those players to start trusting the coaches. And, you know, we're a year or two away. You know, right now what's happening, I believe this is they're learning to become a national championship contender.
And you guys realize, too, as former players, the landscape of college football has changed. You cannot do that anymore. No. They penalize you on the field. And with some of the off-the-field issues that have happened, you just cannot exist that way if you're Randy Shannon and expect to win.
I completely agree. You know, and you're always held under a different microscope, a different prism you're looked at when you're down here at the University of Miami. And no, I completely agree with you. With the culture that we've created today in college football, you can't do that. And I also think what Randy brings to the table here at the University of Miami is to make sure when you win with class. When you win, you know, you're gracious with your success. And when you lose, you learn from your losses.
Dwayne, a wonderful, gregarious act of philanthropy before the game. You wrote a check that had a lot of zeros on it, man. What does it mean to you to give back the way in which you do?
Well, you know, it means everything to me. And I tell recruits this, I tell former players, I tell players, current players, about giving back to the university. And it doesn't have to be in a monetary form. You know, the University of Miami shaped me. And I know it shaped a lot of players. A lot of players will attest to this. And just in terms of teaching you about hard work, about discipline, about setting a goal, failing at the goal, realizing your failures, achieving the goal, teamwork, all those commitments, all those things will carry you for the rest of your life.
You want to coach someday?
Maybe one day. You know,
you got some coaching.
You did in the movie, The Game Plan, didn't you?
Well, I was a quarterback.
Well, you're part coach anyway. Tell us about, Dwayne, on the kickoff here. It's going to be ruled out of bounds at the spot. Tell us about one of your most memorable moments, indelible moments here at the Orange Bowl.
Sure, there's tremendous moments I've had here at the Orange Bowl. You know, from winning a national championship here, we beat Nebraska, we shut them out. You know, they played for it again in '95 when Nebraska beat us. There's, you know, we had a 10-year record-breaking 58 win streak, and we got beat by Washington when they came in. Napoleon Kaufman was on that team. We learned from that loss. Just great memories. But you know, change is good. And I embrace it, and we have to embrace it, and the city of Miami is going to embrace it. The Hurricanes are just going to, we're going to go to Dolphin Stadium, and we're going to continue the tradition there.
On 1st down and 10, Wright hands it off to Cooper. Cooper out to the 5. Dwayne, thanks a lot for joining us. Just want to get one more thing in, okay? You got Get Smart, a movie in production. If you got a role for a couple of sportscasters?
Well, here's the thing. I already shot Get Smart with Steve Carell. Right. That'll be out in the summer, but I'm shooting a big movie called Witch Mountain, and I'm looking for 2 guys of your guys' stature. So, but you won't get paid.
What else is new? What else is new? Thanks a lot for joining us,
That's a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Dwayne.
Thank you.
And your dad was a heck of a wrestler. He was one of my favorites.
He was one of the greats.
Johnson. All right, Miami running the ball once again. Out to the 8-yard line.
And Mark, you talk about Dwayne was a walk-on at Miami. I have so much respect for that. As you know, my son's a walk-on at Arizona State. And I thought Al Grove said it the best. Al Grove was a walk-on at Virginia when he played. He said walk-ons aren't necessarily under-talented guys. They're under-evaluated guys.
Great way to look at it.
That means they were looked over. And there are so many players playing, particularly at Virginia, that were walk-ons that have achieved a lot on the football field.
Well, it certainly shows in the record that they have right now. Coming into this game, 8-2 overall, 5-1 in conference play, and that has been symbolic of the way things have gone tonight for Miami. Wright falling, perhaps getting stepped on by one of his linemen. And once again, 4th down coming up, they'll have to punt.
And Mark, when it goes bad, it goes bad. It's amazing how little things happen. You see the guard, Andrew Bain, step on Kyle Wright's foot. And right now, you better keep an eye on the deep snapper, because the last time they beat him one-on-one in protection.
Bosher punting from the shadows of his own goalpost. This time they protect him well enough, and he gets off a decent punt. Coming down to the 43, fielded cleanly right there. Vic Hall runs it about 5 yards, 38 on the punt. And what else is new? Virginia with good field position when we return.
Sweetie, got you this new phone with a full keyboard, 'cause you're my #1. Hey, honey, got you this great phone from Verizon Wireless, 'cause you're my #1. There you are. Got you this new phone with VCast, 'cause, you know, you're my #1. Saving the best for numero uno. That's right.
This holiday, get the Samsung U740 for only $79.99. Plus, join the Verizon Wireless Family Share Plan and add a line for $9.99. Verizon Wireless.
Honda EU Series generators are perfect for hardcore tailgaters. They provide reliable power for all sorts of things, and they're incredibly quiet. I got this one. Which which neighbors really appreciate. Honda Generators. Bring it.
Struggling with credit card debt? Is it difficult just making your minimum payments? Tired of the harassing calls? If you're in substantial credit card debt and need help, call now and settle your accounts for less than you owe. Call the Hermosa Group today to find out how you can quickly and easily eliminate your debt for less than you owe. Life can be better. Call the Hermosa Group now. Get a low monthly payment that fits your budget. Call now.
Hey, dude. You're just hanging out. I'm watching the game.
Hey, buddy.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you. What's up with your phone?
Nothing?
You need to skin it. Hey, skin that laptop while you're at it.
Sweet.
There's only one way to skin it. Go to skinit.com. Choose your device. Pick your favorite team. The NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and many more. Or create your own at skinit.com.
What am I doing? Skinning it.
Can I get half of that?
You could have just said no.
Sports, collegiate, entertainment, fashion, and more. Go to skinit.com today. What's your skin?
Well, Bob, this was the scene on the sidelines during the commercial break. Darnell Jenkins, who was frustrated at the end of last week's game, speaking to his two quarterbacks.
And, Mark, when it all comes down to it, only those two guys right there, Kirby Freeman and Kyle Wright, really know what's going on. I mean, misery loves company to some degree, and they're struggling right now.
That was a great picture of it. Sewell on the bootleg action, complete to the tight end, John Phillips. And Phillips with plenty of real estate ahead of him. A first down inside the 15-yard line. Virginia getting yardage in many, many big chunks. That time they got 24.
And maybe the best thing Jamel Sewell does, Mark, is play action, fake, bootleg pass. And these tight ends at Virginia are amazingly productive.
It's amazing, Bob, like you said, that they have been able to move the ball this year without that real long ball threat. Michael Simpson down to the 10-yard line, got about 3. Let's take a look at our game track presented by GoDaddy.com. Some of the cogent and pertinent points of the game so far. There were 3 turnovers in the first quarter. And Kyle Wright, 19 yards passing and 3 picks to point so far. Sewell, meanwhile, with 95 yards passing. He had an interception as well, but got a touchdown to Maurice Covington. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. Sewell sold the fake. The catch made just outside the goal line once again to Phillips. And it's first and goal for the Cavaliers. This Miami defense seems a little dispirited and discombobulated right now.
Mark, they are tough to defend. Watch Phillips again just release inside, then work up the seam off the play action. These tight ends have caught over 70 passes between them at Virginia this year. And I'll tell you what, this is a tough offense to defend because they have a lot of different looks.
Sewell keeps it himself. Touchdown, Cavaliers. 23-0. Sewell with his second rushing touchdown this season.
And Mark, these fans are going to boo this Hurricane football team out of this Orange Bowl the way this thing's going right now. But what an impressive drive by Mike Groh, son of Al Groh, who is the offensive coordinator. I'd say great job calling plays.
That's Roy Firestone right there, University of Miami grad on the picture.
Roy. Saw Roy down on the field before the game.
Well, you talk about buzzkill, Bob Davie. The University of Virginia football Cavaliers came to Miami and said that, hey, you know what? We're just one of the sideshows that they're rolling out. We're not anybody. We're just hanging around. We're just showing up. Wink, wink. Back after this.
One discovery can change your life.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
One mistake can destroy it.
Just how dangerous is he?
He's a psychopathic killer.
Newsweek magazine calls it an instant classic. Rolling Stone raves the Coen brothers are at the peak of their powers. It's a great American movie.
You know how this is gonna turn out, don't you? Nope. I think you do.
No Country for Old Men. Rated R. Now playing in select theaters.
And Gleason recovers a fumble in the end zone. That's his first career touchdown.
Wait, is that a Dr. Pepper?
Oh, he's going to make the most of this one.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend.
Can you believe this? We might be here all night. Is he really going to do this? Look out.
Only Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors packed into one bold taste. For those who make the most of everything.
This is my client. He had a choice, relocate or retire. He didn't want to relocate and didn't think he could retire. So we ran several scenarios through our Envision process. He determined he could retire after all, comfortably. He gave his boss the news. Next day, my phone rings. It's his boss. Guess who else wants to retire? I'm with Wachovia.
Find out your options. Go to envisionyourgoals.com.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by No Country for Old Men. Rated R. Now playing in select theaters everywhere November 21st.
Back at the Orange Bowl, and after 468 games over 71 seasons, it'll close its doors on the Miami Hurricanes chapter after tonight's game. And you know what? The Virginia Cavaliers came to town and so far playing the role of party poopers. You talk about huge buzzkill. Jumping out in front 24-0. Let's go to Stan Verrett for a SportsCenter in-game update.
All right, Mark, this Taco Bell studio update takes us to Florida and South Carolina. Tim Tebow can't find a receiver, so he tucks it. That's 15 rushing touchdowns on the season for Tebow. He's also leading the nation in passing efficiency. Here's more evidence of that. Tebow to Jared Faison. Extra point, no good. They made it 13-0. Blake Mitchell with a touchdown pass. 13-7 Gators right now.
Well, Bob, we saw South Carolina last week against Arkansas. They're really in a bad way right now.
Well, I mean, Arkansas goes and loses pretty handily today at Tennessee, but another problem area for Miami the last several years, Mark, has been pass protection. And right now it's kind of a feeding frenzy for these Miami home fans, expecting something bad to happen as you hear boos ring out again in this stadium.
Yeah. That was the that was the 31st sack of the season for the Cavaliers defense, and so far not much help being given to Kyle Wright at quarterback. Kirby Freeman was the starter last week. Wright missed the last couple of weeks, one of them a bye week with a knee and an ankle injury that had him, as Stacey Dales reported earlier, wearing a boot on his foot up until Sunday. He didn't start practicing until Monday. In this historic building, a look at a timeline on this venerable edifice, the Orange Bowl. Opened some 70 years ago. The first game by the Dolphins played against the Raiders, and 5 Super Bowls have been played here. Maybe the most memorable one, the Joe Willie Namath prediction, which he was able to pay good on, and a 58-game home winning streak. This place was a graveyard at one point for visiting teams, and it originally cost $340,000. Capacity of almost 73,000.
You know, Mark, I asked Rock about the fine line that Randy Shannon is walking. You know, as a former player here, he was part of the day with the swagger, and when they went to the Fiesta Bowl and wore the fatigues. And I'm sure a bunch of those former teammates that he plays with believes that that's what you have to do to win. but he's taken the course of the discipline mode that, of course, the administration wants. I mean, that's a fine, difficult line to walk.
Certainly is, and it's not as if they don't have talent. Cooper breaks enough one. Well, first, those aren't boos you're hearing raining down. Those are coos, as in Cooper. He got 25, Bob.
Well, Greg Cooper, a freshman out of Memphis, spent a year at Milford Academy. But, Mark, there's no question this is a talented football team. Al Groh said the most talented team we've played all year. And in my opinion, it's not so much about swagger and emotion right now. It's about execution. I mean, Miami does not execute as a football team.
We saw a little scene on the sidelines during the last commercial break. Cooper this time couldn't get to the edge, and he's going to be brought down for a loss of about 3 yards on the play. And Stacey Dale's Randy Shannon implementing some unique rules to get things straight here, hasn't he?
Absolutely. We spent some time with him yesterday, and he's really tried to change the culture here. The Rock talked about it. Change is necessary at Miami, and here are some of the rules under Randy Shannon, guys. No guns. Public chivalry. Let's open doors for women. No cell phones in meetings, or everybody gets them taken away. You can't drive after dark when you leave practice. Players have to maintain a GPA of 2.5, guys, if they want to live on campus, and they're upperclassmen. And underclassmen, they have to live in the dorms on campus, guys. Lots of rules by Randy Shannon so far, but obviously success not so on the field.
Yeah, obviously, Stacey, at some point, the rules have to equate to wins. That pass incomplete, under 8 minutes to go. And if you're Randy Shannon right now, Bob, what are you thinking as the coach?
He's struggling. I mean, he understands the responsibility he has. I mean, think of all the successful coaches, and even more pressure, think of all those successful teammates. I mean, you're just not supposed to be down 24-0 in the last home game to Virginia in the Orange Bowl. So the weight of the world. I mean, let's be honest right now on Randy Shannon, and it's hard to solve the problems offensively, just like I had when you never coached offense.
Kyle Wright, who's missed his last 8 consecutive passes, that time forced to run it, stepping out of bounds at the 49-yard line, and there were some words on the sidelines. Kyle Wright picked up 3 yards, not nearly enough for the first down, and you see him, his gait, he's not running well. Courageous just to be out there at this point. He told Stacey before the game that he really couldn't plant well on that injured knee and ankle.
And we take a look at Patrick Nix. I mean, keep in mind, Patrick Nix, who came from Georgia Tech, Mark, this is his first time ever really being an offensive coordinator, because Chan Gailey, all those years Patrick Nix was at Georgia Tech, Chan Gailey was the offensive coordinator for the Rambling Wreck now.
And the ball takes a Virginia bounce all the way out near the 30-yard line. They're going to spot it about the 29. The Hurricanes looking to be resuscitated here, looking for some life when we return.
I'm Amanda Beard, gold medalist, and GoDaddy girl. GoDaddy has everything you need to get online. Website builders, .com names, hosting, email, all backed by expert live service 24/7. My site says success, and success starts with a domain name from GoDaddy.com. .com names from $1.99 at GoDaddy.com. Go for the gold. Go get yours.
Think it's time I told my little bro my rules to live by. Rules. Chop. Always, always get chili on your nachos Bel Grande.
A Taco Bell classic, now topped with chili. New chili cheese nachos Bel Grande, only at Taco Bell.
Things you can do with one finger. Amuse a baby. Declare your team's supremacy. Prove your sobriety. Make toast. Identify a murderer. Get to know your doctor. Save Holland.
Danke, mister.
Reallocate your entire investment portfolio with E-Trade and get free independent research. Tell your expensive broker where to go. All it takes is one finger. It's easy, it's extraordinary, it's E-Trade.
If your windshield meets a rock,
you can reach us around the clock.
More people choose us every day.
Every day.
All across the USA. Certified pros on the go. And we keep our prices low. Save light.
Whenever auto glass breaks.
Sorry, I can fix that.
Call 1-800-800-ASAP or go to safelight.com to get a free instant quote and to schedule online.
Safe Light.
Closed captioning for selected programming is brought to you by Skechers.
Kind of missing your white sneakers with the jeans look.
They don't really look that good.
No.
You got Skechers. I mean, they're made like sneakers, right? They're comfortable and go with everything. Skechers and jeans, Skechers and khakis.
Skechers also come in white.
Hey, he could wear them with jeans.
Right.
A bit of a shocking score here so far at the Orange Bowl as Miami trails Virginia 24-0. For the Cavaliers, a win would put them at 6-1 in conference play, and a big one coming up in a couple of weeks after the bye week against Virginia Tech. On the bootleg action, Phillips left wide open for the second consecutive time out near midfield and into Miami territory. Bob, why are they having so much success with the tight ends tonight?
Mark, I tell you, when you have a fast-flowing, fast-reaction defense, when that action starts one way, watch, this action starts opposite. The tight end blocks and then releases. You get a defense that overreacts. Plus, Sewell is so good, Mark, on those play-action passes, and those tight ends are players now.
Yeah,
but it's tough against a speed defense like Miami.
First down and 10 in Hurricane territory at the 42. Simpson on the handoff. Got a nice block on the edge. And now down near the 30-yard line. Albert with a good block, and a 30-30 Sports Center update with Stan in the studio.
All right, Mark, for the ninth time this season, an unranked team beat a top 5 team, but this time it was #1. Illinois wins at Ohio State 28-21. Juice Williams with 4 touchdown passes. The Buckeyes' 28-game regular season win streak all done. They'll be Michigan for the Big Ten title next week, but that game lost some luster when Wisconsin knocked off the Wolverines. Badgers snapped Michigan's 8-game win streak. More on Sports Center after Florida, South Carolina over on ESPN.
All right, thanks a lot, Stan. Simpson got rocked that time by Daryl Sharpton. Daryl Sharpton, the 240-pound sophomore, with the hit, and Simpson, meanwhile, with a nice gain of 7 on the play.
Mark, this offensive line from Virginia, this time they're going to pull the center Lipsy around. The last time it was Brandon Albert, the offensive guard. Watch this right here.
What in the name of
This is a good offensive line.
What in the name of Dermody Johnson is going on here?
There's a name out of the past. But they pull their linemen. They're extremely athletic. All 5 starters back from last year up front.
Sewell and wide open again, the tight end. This time it's Stupar. And Stupar down to the 5-yard line. They are making precise surgical incisions on that Miami defense at this point.
Mark, they brought the tight end, they brought Stupar across in motion. Miami was in man-to-man, and they just turned the tight end Stupar loose.
Cooper making the stop all the way down at the 5-yard line. Over 70,000 fans here in stunned disbelief. Simpson on the run, and he's going to be stopped up short of the goal line at about the 3-yard line.
And you know, Mark, it's easy to pile on Miami right now, but let's talk about the execution of this Virginia football team. I mean, they're playing their 4th tailback, Michael Simpson. Their best receiver, Ogletree, Kevin Ogletree, out for the season. They're 101st in total offense, but you would never believe it the way they have managed the game. I am very impressed with this Virginia football team and how well they're coached.
Prior to this game, the Hurricanes hadn't given up many points at home all season. 2nd down and goal. Simpson on the carry. Simpson going to be marked short of the end zone, about a foot away from the goal line stripe. And it'll be 3rd down and goal coming up for the Cavaliers.
Again, you're going to see the big guard, Brandon Albert. Watch right here, pulling around, Mark. Whoop. He gets up underneath the pads of Tavares Gooden. Al Groh with the sweatshirt on, the Bill Belichick style of clothing. He looks a little bit sharper than Bell, though. Of course, he's in Virginia. I mean, you've got to look that way, right?
Exactly.
That eyes-on sweatshirt he's wearing over there.
Kind of a preppy look, Bob. So far, Virginia hasn't done well in the state of Florida. 0-15 all time. Simpson trying to change that, and he does a good job in trying to. Touchdown, Virginia. 30 love for the Cavaliers over the Hurricanes on what was supposed to be a going-away party for the OB.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is the 96th ranked scoring offense with 30 on the Hurricanes with 5 minutes left. But when you're an Epton offense the way Miami is, that starts to rub off on the defense psychologically. This is a flat, defeated football team right now, Miami, Mark.
Randy Shannon is Still trying to figure it out at this point. His team down big when we return to the Orange Bowl.
This institution will be based on the illimitable freedom of the human mind.
For here, we are not afraid to follow truth, wherever it may lead.
Nor to tolerate any error, so long as reason is left free to combat it.
I hope the University of Virginia will prove a blessing to my own state.
And not unuseful, perhaps, to some others.
It is the last act of usefulness I can render. And could I see it open, I would not ask an hour more of life.
Here's your ball game, folks, as Flutie takes the snap. He drops straight back, has some time. Now he scrambles away from one hit. Looks, uncorks a deep one for the end zone. Phelan is down there. Oh, he got it! He got it! He got it! Flutie did it! He got Phelan in the end zone! Touchdown!
Tell you what, you remember where you were when that happened? Did you see that play?
Yeah.
Live?
You gotta be careful how you mention Boston College and Doug Flutie around these parts.
Wow.
It still stings.
That's still an unbelievable play.
Gold with the kick. Down at the goal line, it's Ryan Hill on the kickoff return. They could use a little help. Get an easy one here in special teams. Unfortunately, this one is going to be truncated at the 27-yard line.
You know,
well, with only 2 races remaining, the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series on ABC tomorrow has Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon taking their championship duel to the desert. With a win at Texas, Jimmy Johnson is going for his 4th consecutive season win at Phoenix International Raceway and hoping to increase his 30-point lead over Jeff Gordon. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern with NASCAR Countdown.
Out in Phoenix. And if you're Miami right now, Mark, sounds crazy, but you can't worry about that scoreboard. You need to line up and run this football a little bit, get these talented running backs some yardage.
You're right, it does sound a little bit crazy, but James doing a nice job. His forward progress is going to give him the first down. He picked up about 12 yards on that carry.
Yeah, he had a nice block from Andrew Bain, the left guard, but
James a little shaken up coming out of the game.
Mark Javaris had 802 yards last year as a true freshman. Last week he had 103 yards. Highly recruited guy. I mean, USC, Oklahoma, Florida. Versatile running back.
His father, John, a proud dad and a great influence on him growing up. Youth League football. Craig Cooper in the ballgame now for James. This is Darnell Jenkins on the carry out to the 45 as we go to Stan Verrett for the Sports Center in-game update.
Mark, Florida and South Carolina over on ESPN. Gamecocks taking the lead. Blake Mitchell going to Dion LaCorn. Great catch down inside the 5, but the drive will not be truncated there. Corey Boyd punched it in. The Gamecocks with a 14-13 lead on the Gators. LSU figures to be the new #1 team in the BCS after Ohio State's loss, playing out of conference against Louisiana Tech and leading 10-0. Matt Flynn with a touchdown run.
Yeah, figures Stan would bring up the LSU thing, you know. And Stan, I want to clear one thing up. Bob did not break curfew on South Beach. He was actually out early this morning running, getting his fitness in.
If I was in one of those clubs in South Beach, I'd be the only cat with khaki pants on in one of those clubs. Stan doesn't know me very well if he pictures me down in that art district of South Beach.
Jenkins on the carry got about 3 yards on it.
By the way,
yes.
I appreciate you giving me your seats last night to the Miami Heat game.
I'm a team player, man.
You know, Mark has season tickets for the Heat. They were a little disappointed I was sitting in that seat, but all your fan club coming up asking where Mark was, but I appreciate those seats.
I was hoping, Bob, you would have brought the Heat a little luck last night. It is a rough time to be a Miami sports fan with the Hurricanes struggling. The Marlins didn't do well this year. The Dolphins still looking for their first win as well. And Kyle Wright sacked back at the 38-yard line by Nate Niles with under 3 minutes to play. It is going south here at the Orange Bowl.
Mark, at some point, you have to see this coming. Watch where Lyles comes from. I mean, Lyles is clear out here. I mean, he telegraphs it. I mean, at some point, you better have a clock running in your head. Excuse me, Lyles came clear even farther away than that. But wow.
Bosher now punting from his own 24-yard line. The Hurricanes have not scored yet, being shut out 31-0. And a nice punt by Bosher all the way back to the 11-yard line. And Stacey Dales with a special guest downstairs.
Yes, Mark Jones, a very special guest, Hall of Famer in the College Football Hall of Fame in 2006 and a national champion here with Miami. And first of all, on a night like this, Benny Blades, I've got to ask you, what sentiments are running through your mind such a memorable evening?
Well, the sentiments that's running through my mind is how we dominated the 80s. Because when you look at the field now, and it's such a blowout of a game, and I said, man, how our times have changed. 20 years ago, you know, we dominated, you know, severely teams, and you know, it's just sad right now.
As you watch on a night like tonight, no score on the board for Miami, talking with your peers and your colleagues from the past, what is the biggest difference now? Why is this team struggling?
I'll tell you what, we've been sitting over here trying to figure it out. You know, we say it's not for lack of talent, because they have talent. The thing is, they just seem confused. Every time there's a big play, there's one or two people out of place. And so you can't play football if you're confused.
Well, we appreciate your time, Benny, and hopefully good things ahead for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Stacy, and you know, the one thing about the Hurricane family, a gain of a couple on the play, it's a tight-knit, galvanized group. It's not unusual for guys like Daryl Sharpton there, linebacker, to get phone calls and text messages from guys in the NFL. Andre Johnson, one of the Houston Texans, with a week off, former All-American receiver here at Miami, one of the many on hand tonight.
You know, Mark, and you see from Benny Blades how sincere they are. I mean, this is for real, and it's not just here. You saw that story this week at Notre Dame, where Bob Kuechenberg, a former great player from here in Miami, came out and had some things to say about Charlie Weiss. So those former players have a lot invested, Mark. I mean, this is their past, this is their name, their reputation.
It certainly is. Payne on the carry. Let's go back to Stan in the studio. Stan?
All right, guys, Jesse Palmer is going to join me for halftime here. We're going to talk about the two big surprises in the Big Ten today. The Buckeyes going down as the #1 team in the country. Also, Badgers knocking off the Wolverines in Georgia. How about them today? Back in black.
All black.
Over Auburn today.
Doesn't get any bigger.
That's all coming up. Yamaha halftime report on the way, Mark.
All right, Stan, and boy, what about Mark Richt going to the black uniforms? First he's got the celebration thing after the touchdown, now wearing black. Well, he's getting kind of funky down there.
He hasn't been the same since you visited there. We had him 2 weeks in a row. You completely turned his coaching style around.
Getting him to see it a little differently, you know.
Mark, I go back to Benny Blades and his comments and some of the former players. The guys you really, really respect, and I know a lot of them maybe don't have the money, but there's a lot of them that do. Guys like The Rock that put $1 million in this program tonight on the field. Those are the guys that I really, really respect. And I know Randy Shannon has reached out to a lot of these former players. Let's be honest, the facilities here at Miami, and I know it's not all about facilities, but they are way, way behind facility-wise compared to these other teams in the country.
And they are going to try and upgrade that if anybody can get it fixed and done and reclaimed. It's Randy Shannon, a former player. And, of course, next year they'll move up to Dolphin Stadium and play their home games there, some 15, 20 miles away in Miami Gardens, Florida. That's Simpson on the carry. And, you know, it's strictly a bottom line move when you talk about them going from Dade County and here in Miami up north to Dolphin Stadium. Miami Gardens up around Miramar, that area. A lot of their fan base, Bob, is actually closer to Dolphin Stadium, and they unveiled their seat plan earlier this week. And here's a look at some of the college teams that now play in professional stadiums. And I've been to Dolphin Stadium. That is a first-class facility. And in the words of Paul D., the athletic director at the University of Miami, he says they have gone to pretty much worst to first in terms of stadium.
Well, Mark, I mean, they're going to try to make it work. That's just the way it is. But you and I both know there's something about college stadiums. The NFL stadiums are pretty sterile. Right. Plus, it's a long way from for the student body now. That stadium's a long way up there. So, yeah, their fan base may be close, but their student body is a long way.
On fourth down, Bob, 4th and 6. Cooper back to the punt right around midfield. Ryan Wagon to punt. Gets off a nice high spiral, does Wagon. And Cooper at the 43. Looked like they faked the reverse. They did that earlier this year to Darnell Jenkins, and it worked out pretty well, but that time they didn't. A 47-yard punt, nothing on the return. Monday Night Football on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern Time. Frank Gore, former Hurricane, and the San Francisco 49ers facing division rival Seattle, led by Sean Alexander. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. Talk about the running back class of 2001. Davenport, McGahee coming back from the knee injury. Gore also came back from a knee. Clinton Portis. That's a pretty impressive list, all from the U here in Miami. Kyle Wright on first down and 10. And almost picked off again by Vic Hall. Vic Hall almost had his second, and Kyle Wright might have hurt his hand on the pass too.
Mark, you talk about players. The last 23 years in college football, Miami has the most first, second, or third round draft picks in all of football. It goes Miami, then Florida State, then Ohio State, Tennessee, Florida, USC. So it isn't about players, and I agree with Benny Blades. They are a little bit slow reacting. They do look a little bit confused and really no confidence at all on offense.
Wright has now snapped the streak, Bob, of 9 consecutive incompletions. Makes that one down to the 40-yard line. Diedrich Epps, the 6'4 sophomore with the catch, picked up 15. 1 minute to go in the first half. Mark Jones along with Bob Davie. Stacey Dale's down in the field. This is the last game of the Orange Bowl for the Miami Hurricanes. Albeit not the last event here at the Orange Bowl. FIU will play a couple of games here. Wright with plenty of time. Completed the 38-yard line, but there's a flag down at the backfield in the 47-yard line. This one might come back.
Yeah, Mark, I think we're going to get a hold right in the middle of that offensive line for Miami. You look at their center in there, John Rochford, number 62. He is an undersized center. It's going to be a face mask penalty rather than a holding.
Yeah, you speak of Rochford, number 62. Really one of the feel-good stories of the season for Randy Shannon's offense. A former long snapper, didn't get much run. Not many snaps a couple of years ago. Played H-back, fullback, tight end, now doing well, albeit that play aside at center.
Personal foul. Face mask. 62 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, Mark, he gained 40 pounds. Was a deep snapper. Went to the coach and said he wanted to play a position, gained 40 pounds.
Yeah, one of 21 seniors playing their final home game here at the Orange Bowl and in a University of Miami uniform. 1st and 25 back at the 45 of the Hurricanes. Wright forced to scramble. Barely got it away, incomplete at the 45-yard line, intended for Cooper. Jeffrey Fitzgerald getting the pressure for Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Fitzgerald, he was a freshman All-American last year, has 5 sacks, Mark, 11 tackles for loss. Amazingly, he has 4 career interceptions. You can see why Al Groh's so high on him. He can really run now.
Yeah, all the talk is of Chris Long, deservingly so, but Fitzgerald showing a nice burst of speed.
Yeah. He has 3 touchdowns as a defensive end.
2nd down and 5 for the Hurricanes. Wright couldn't find the snap. It's loose. Wow. And it's Virginia football. Another Miami turnover. The night has gone all wrong and all south for the guys from South Florida and Randy Shannon. Collins getting the loose ball on the fumble, the 4th turnover for Miami.
Yeah, Mark, Kyle Wright really should have caught this football. I mean, the snap handcuffed him just a little bit. It was low and hard.
You're cutting him a little bit of slack on that, right? I mean, you said it first. He should have caught that.
You can't help but feel, though, Mark, for these Miami players. I mean, they came out here. They knew the responsibility, playing for a winning season, playing for a bowl game. The reality is they go to Boston College and Virginia Tech the last 2 weeks.
Sewell tipped and almost completed, almost intercepted 2 at the 21. Chavez Grant making a nice play on the ball for the Hurricanes. But Bob, one story we haven't had a chance to talk about, and a good one for Virginia. Jamil Sewell has really symbolized the reemergence of this team from week 1 when they went out to Cowboy country and lost to Wyoming. He has been a clutch performer throughout the last 9 games. They've won 8 of those games. He has been Mr. Clutch, especially in game-winning drives. And we talked about them winning 5 games by 2 points or less, and their last 3 victories in a row by 1 point. He's been mainly the reason why.
And right there is the reason why. Did you see him not take the sack, able to get that football off to Santee? But he's a runner that has really developed as a quarterback, Mark. And I think they've done a great job coaching him. I mean, he gets a little erratic. He's not the most accurate guy at times. And they've done a great job of utilizing his skills, which are ball handling and also as a runner.
Yeah, Bob, hey, saw it again last week against Wake Forest. Game-winning drive. He goes 3 for 5. Has 2 really important runs of 10 and 11 yards. Earlier this season against Middle Tennessee State, he was 5 for 5 on a game-winning drive. Against UConn, he was 3 for 4 for 52 yards on the game-winning drive to earn what Al Groh called a quote-unquote pelt, kind of a notch in his belt, a skin, so to speak. And he led a 15-play, 90-yard drive against Maryland in a game that we called several weeks ago. Went 6 for 6 passing on that drive to lead them to a Mikael Simpson touchdown. And he hasn't been spectacular, but he's been extremely efficient when it counted most.
Well, you know, they spend a lot of time. Every school does, but I think they spend more time, Mark, of just end-of-the-game situations. And I think a lot of that comes from Al Groh's experience in the NFL. But the bottom line, the confidence level compared to Miami's confidence level at quarterback is unbelievable. Look at that.
Wow, Sewell escaping harm's way and delivers a dart complete to Maurice Covington. And that might be the last play. It will be the last play of the first half. Virginia with its 2nd most points in a game already this season. This is not by any stretch a team you would consider an offensive juggernaut, as a chorus of boos shower down on the Hurricanes. And certainly you can understand Randy Shannon's frustration as well as their fans and followers. Chris Long all smiles. And Jamil Sewell efficient during that first half. And Stacy standing by with Al Groh.
Coach Groh, what is your reaction to the lopsided nature of this football game?
Well, Stacy, we came into the game with the idea that you win games like this 1 play at a time. The players have been repeating that during the half, and we're going to go with that same mentality during this half. It's going to be 1 play at a time, and we've got 30 more minutes to play.
Coach, you're used to close games. What do you tell your players that are up 31 and have held the opposition scoreless at the half?
Well, if we go on that 1 play at a time thing, we haven't been scoreboard watchers at any time. What we've had to do in the close games was on that same mentality, win the next play, win the situation. So what we have to do, Stacy, is just be ourselves.
All right, thanks, Coach. Mark?
31-0 at halftime. And you know, the Cavaliers kind of like that uncle of yours that shows up at a party and has a little too much and puts the lampshade on his head, Stan Barrett. Back to you with the Yamaha halftime report. Miami fans have been throwing up the U sign, the sign of unity at the University of Miami, but Virginia has taken charge and stormed into the OB and taken control 31-0 at the break. I'm Mark Jones. He's Bob Davie. Stacey Dales is down on the field. She'll be joining us in just a few moments. Bob, Virginia came into this game tied for first in the Coastal Division in the ACC. Really, if you look at it, didn't have much to play for because the big game is next game against Virginia Tech. But great coaching by Al Groh to come out and have this team focused and executing.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, it's easy to sit here and talk about how inept Miami was. 3-0 interceptions. They had a punt block. They gave up 3 sacks. But on the other hand, I mean, how about Virginia? Right. Like you said, I mean, next week's the showdown, or actually an open date, then the showdown with Virginia Tech. But they have played extremely well, and sometimes you do play better when in some ways there's less pressure, because this Miami football team, with all these former great Miami players here, the last game in the Orange Bowl, let's face it, Randy Shannon, they have not played very well.
And if you're Randy Shannon, looking at a 31-0 deficit, what can you possibly say to your team in the locker room at halftime to try and get some semblance of momentum? Because they are really dispirited. You can sense that they're down at this point of the game.
Well, Mark, I think you just have to execute. I mean, the reality is you have half of a football game left. You have 2 games left on the road at BC and at Virginia Tech, so there's a lot of football left for Miami, but don't be talking about a bunch of motivational things. Just talk about execution.
On the kickoff return, Pearman. And Pearman out over the 32-yard line. Take a look at our GoDaddy.com game track. Kyle Wright had a really rough, inaccurate first half, and he didn't get much help on those 3 interceptions. Meanwhile, Sewell was 10 of 13 for 165 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. That was Maurice Covington on the first touchdown pass, and then Michael Simpson had 60 rushing yards and a touchdown. Virginia scored on 5 of its 8 possessions so far in the game.
Yeah, and Virginia comes in averaging 22 points a game. They already have 31, but that's what 3 turnovers and a block punt will give you.
They set up the screen to Simpson, makes a nice move, darting to the outside. And Michael Simpson with a first down at the 45-yard line. Willie Cooper finally pushed him out of bounds. Simpson, a great all-around performer, got 12 on that play. Good receiver, good rusher. He single-handedly took down the University of Maryland and got the win for Virginia in that game 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Mark, he had 13 catches against Wake Forest, or excuse me, 13 against Maryland, 8 last week against Wake Forest.
Here he is again, and to think that 3 weeks ago Simpson was buried so far down on the depth chart that you couldn't find him. You needed a microscope to find him. Picked up 3.
Yeah, we took a little bit of heat for mispronouncing his name. It is Michael Simpson. But let's be honest, we went into the Maryland game, we'd never heard of him.
There was no reason to try and pronounce his name.
It didn't look like Maryland's defense had ever heard of him either.
Yes, certainly.
But how about the last drive against Maryland? Michael Simpson touched the ball 14 of the 15 plays on that last drive to beat the Terrapins.
Who would have thought that this Virginia team would be in the position that they are right now when the prognosticators came out with all their various forecasts. That pass complete to Santee. Santee was shaken up several weeks ago in that Maryland game and was knocked out of the game on the first play with an injury. He picked up 11 that time.
Mark, Miami has really struggled with the tight end just releasing in the flat. That time he just beat the linebacker 48, Spencer Atkins. I'm talking about Tom Santee, the tight end from Maryland. Really kind of a Dallas Clark kind of tight end, more of a wide receiver in some ways.
Here's Sewell on a direct snap out of the shotgun, takes it and runs for a first down at the 30-yard line. Whatever it is that Groh is doing as its offensive coordinator, he's doing it well because they seem to be schemed extremely well against this Miami defense tonight.
You are exactly right. And Mark, I mean, you're 101 in total offense. You come in here an 8-2 team. I've never seen it that way. I mean, 101 rated offense, and you know, they're 64th and 62nd in turnover margin. It's not like Virginia wins the turnover battle either, but they find a way to win games.
Certainly do, Bob. And speaking of winning games, we talked about it at the top of the show. If you're just joining us, this Virginia team set an NCAA record by winning 5 games by 2 points or fewer so far this year. And their last 3 wins have been by a single point. Virginia hasn't scored a third-quarter touchdown this season, but the way that the offense is playing tonight in Dade County against these Hurricanes, I wouldn't bet against it.
Well, don't you think Al Groh ought to be up for some Coach of the Year on him? Yep. I mean, tell me a guy in the country that's really done a better job, and he's done a great job, particularly when you think about last year. You know, they had a little heat in the offseason, then they get blown out at Wyoming in the first game. to be able to come back and win this many close games, Mark, is amazing.
Bobby has a great analogy. He likes to use the boxing analogy. A penalty. It's an illegal procedure penalty against Virginia, by the way. Gross says, hey, if we were a boxer, we're not Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray. We're Marvin Hagler. We're Joe Frazier. We have to make it uglier. We have to do a little infighting, slug it out. Simpson got down to the 27-yard line. And a great job by Groh, Bob, when you talk about the way that he recaptured the psyche of this team after losing to Wyoming in that first week of the season.
Well, you know, he's coached a lot of years with Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. And, you know, every spring he goes up to the Patriots. They set him aside in a little room. He gets to watch the tape and, you know, study a lot of football. He leaves all the head coaching stuff back in Charlottesville. And just for a couple days every spring, he's just an old ball coach again.
And Sewell with another dart complete to Covington. And Covington brought down to the 13-yard line, and another first down for the Virginia Cavaliers.
And that's a little bit too easy, Mark. I mean, Covington just comes in motion, sits down against the zone. I mean, Covington's a guy, had a broken hand, has a nasty scar on his hand. Came back last week, had 4 catches against Wake Forest. Had a big 4th down catch last week against Wake Forest. Another one of those nail-biting finishes.
Something that they've really become accustomed to. First down and 10 for Virginia at the 13-yard line. Simpson. And that time Simpson didn't have much room. Brought down to the 14-yard line by Vegas Franklin. This is Virginia's opening drive of the second half. They lead 31-0. Michael Simpson and Jamil Sewell have done a great job offensively, and the tight ends have contributed significantly as well. Santi Stupar and John Phillips.
You know, Mark, I've never heard of this stat. Virginia has only scored 5 points all season in the third quarter. That's unbelievable now. They've been a great fourth quarter team, but the third quarter they don't score much.
They save it till the end. Maybe not this time. Phillips with the catch and a strong run towards the end zone, but stopped up short. Although he did get the first down, Phillips picked up 13 on the play. First down and goal for Virginia. Cooper there making the stop for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, good lick by Vegas Franklin. Put a lot of pressure on Sewell. Boom, right there. But again, the crossing route to the tight end this time. A lot of different receivers, Mark. John Phillips really more of a blocker, but a lot of different receivers. I mean, when you talk about nickel and dime and you dinking the ball around, Virginia does a tremendous job. I mean, wide receivers aren't much of a factor in this offense. It's more the running back, tight end combinations.
It's working. First down and goal for Virginia. Simpson, nowhere to go, running between the tackles, stopped up short of line of scrimmage. Maybe lost the yard on the play. He's going to mark it back just outside the 2-yard line.
You know, Wake Forest, Mark, was the first ranked team that Virginia had played all year. So, I mean, they've benefited from a pretty good schedule. I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, they still have the big showdown coming with Virginia Tech. But you know what? They have an open date before they get Virginia Tech.
Time to scheme up for the Hokies. 10th play of the drive coming up. The handoff, and Simpson walks into the end zone, waltzes in untouched.
Again, the big guard pulling around, but, you know, little different kind of plays. You know, you don't see these plays every week, week in and week out in college football.
I'll tell you, Bob, it's a pretty good scheme right now. 37-0.
In your wildest dreams, Mark.
Never.
I didn't really think Virginia was capable of blowing a team out, particularly a Miami team. But to come down here and put 37 on them early in the third quarter.
You know, now we start digging into the record books and wondering how bad the Canes have lost here in their history. I'll tell you one thing. Right now, the Cavaliers are playing chess. The Canes are playing checkers. Back after this.
Amanda Beard, record-breaking swimmer. Are you ready to shock the world?
I don't know.
Amanda, you're a GoDaddy girl now, right? It's national TV. You showing them off is going to be huge.
All right.
.com names from $1.99 at GoDaddy.com.
Wow, I've never seen anyone with 7.
I have 7.
Yeah, but I like hers better.
This is my client. He had a choice, relocate or retire. He didn't want to relocate and didn't think he could retire. So we ran several scenarios through our Envision process. He determined he could retire after all, comfortably. He gave his boss the news. Next day, my phone rings. It's his boss. Guess who else wants to retire? I'm with Wachovia.
Find out your options. Go to envisionyourgoals.com.
Relationships in life are more important than the one between you and your Michelin tires. Rugged, long-lasting Michelin truck tires. Michelin, a better way forward.
Cool, crispy melt pizza.
Yep, melted cheese between 2 crispy crusts.
Wait, crispy and melty? That's 2 completely different things.
I know. You got one thing, then boom, something totally different.
Yeah, and then back again. 2 things in one, like in
perfect harmony.
Uh-huh.
Domino's new Crispy Melt Pizza. Melted cheese and a topping between 2 crispy crusts. Get a medium for just $9.99. Call or order online.
For over 50 years, a tradition of excellence has continued in the Atlantic Coast Conference. But it's not all about trophies and winning. It's also about sportsmanship, showing respect, rising above it all, and being a leader for both fans and players alike. In the ACC, we're working hard to continue making sportsmanship a tradition. The ACC, a tradition of excellence, then, now, and always.
Welcome back to ESPN2's College Football Primetime, presented by GoDaddy.com here at the Orange Bowl. The Hurricanes, after 71 seasons playing here at the corner of 4th and 17th, they'll close the doors on the Orange Bowl for Miami after this game. A lot of great moments have transpired here. National championship games and teams and Super Bowls. Hill on the return for Miami, short of the 25-yard line. And one of the most memorable Orange Bowl moments, the Jets' monumental upset of the highly favored Colts. Backed up Joe Namath's guarantee of a win. 16-7 in that one. Super Bowl 10, Terry Bradshaw threw deep. Lynn Swann made a habit out of these, Bob Davey. Acrobatic 53-yard catch, and you got to feel, Jackie, hang on to it. Jackie Smith dropped that in the end zone. The Cowboys lost 35-31. Hit him in the shoulder pass.
I'll tell you what you always just think of is that open end zone, Mark, with those palm trees down there in that end zone. You know, a guy like me that grew up in Pittsburgh, right, and you'd watch those late December games, you know, always see those palm trees and that sunshine down there in that open end.
Yeah, good point. Kind of made you feel good just to see the breeze making those palm branches sway a little bit. And they will close the doors on the old OB after the evening. Miami will play next season at Dolphin Stadium. 6-yard pickup on the last play. 2nd down and 4. That's Javaris James stopped up short of the 1st down. James, the 2nd leading rusher on the team coming into this game with 519 total yards.
You know, it's been a different style game, obviously, Mark, with Virginia jumping out here on offense. But really the defense has been the strength of this Virginia team. 25th in total defense. Obviously, Chris Long, they move him around a lot on 3rd down. Big, talented corners. We haven't talked much about their defense.
They've done, obviously, a good job keeping them in it throughout the year, not just this game. And a complete pass and just the 2nd conversion on 3rd down tonight. Zellner with the 1st down to the 41-yard line.
And Mark, kind of a play out of the Virginia playbook. They bring Chris Zellner, the big tight end, on the crossing route right there off a little bit of play action.
Good for 27 yards and a 1st down. Kyle Wright said that of all the struggles he's been through, he's learned from it. Said that Quote, I think I've grown up a lot and learned a lot and adjusted to a lot of hardships here at Miami. That carry by Javaris James stopped up short of the 40-yard line. Virginia's defense, though, has been really stout. Tonight, 3 picks, 2 sacks, a blocked punt on special teams, tackles for loss, and more importantly, the big 0 on the board there, Bob.
Yeah, Mark, you know, they're a 3-4 defense, kind of a reading front, weight back, lined up off the ball on rundowns. And then when it's a passing down, you're going to see a lot of different looks. So, you know, they're really playing more of a passing type scheme here in the second half. But look how far those defensive linemen are off the ball.
Here's Wright. Throws it underneath to Deleon Fall. And he's about 3 yards short of the first down. Let's go to Stan Verrett in the studio for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
Mark, it's the night time of the season, and an unranked team is beating the top 5 team, but this time it's number 1. Illinois wins at Ohio State 28-21, 4 touchdown passes for Juice Williams. The Buckeyes' 28-game regular season win streak is over. They'll meet Michigan for the Big Ten title next week, but that game lost some more luster when Wisconsin knocked off the Wolverines 37-21. Badgers snapped Michigan's 8-game win streak. More on SportsCenter after Florida, South Carolina on ESPN.
Yeah, you never think. I didn't that Illinois could go in to Ohio State and win that game. I really didn't. But how about Ron Zook?
Yeah, got himself a contract extension recently, and obviously by the win, evidence that it was well-deserved.
Mark, 4th down for Miami. Obviously going to go for it right here. Interesting. You'll see how much confidence they have in Kyle Wright right here, because it is a passing down situation. You're a 4th and a long, too.
Wright working out of the shotgun. Jenkins in motion. They fake the handoff and give it to James. And Javaris James, with a little trickery, gets the first down. And they're able to convert for the 13th time on 4th down this season.
A little misdirection. They fake the reverse, then hand the ball to Javaris James. I was curious to see if they let Kyle Wright throw that football right there. I think that answered your question, or my question. They'd rather run the football than throw it right now.
James able to convert that time. Javaris James, cousin of Edgerrin James, who donated some $250,000 to the university a couple of years ago. And now Javaris James meets in the Edgerrin James conference room for running backs. And they'll have that play to review on tape, Bob Davie, on Monday. Chris Long making the stop.
Well, I read somewhere where Edgerrin said he wants to play long enough so that this guy is a teammate of his and in the NFL at the same time.
He's out by you in Phoenix right now.
Tell you what, they're doing a good job running the football.
Yeah.
And Ken Wiesnut has transformed that team really from kind of a throwing team under Denny Green to trying to run the ball a little bit more. And it's a good thing because Matt Leinart has been hurt. Kurt Warner's been hurt, the quarterbacks. They've been able to run him a little bit.
Edgerrin says that Javaris is actually a little better than he was at the same stage of their respective careers. This time Wright finds his receiver underneath at the 18-yard line. That's his tight end, Chris Zellner. About 2 yards short of the first down. The clock running with 5:39 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Zellner picks up 8 on the play. Miami came into the game 5-4 overall. 2-3 in the Coastal Division in the ACC. This is the 5th game all time between these two teams. Miami leads the overall series 3-1, but all numbers aside, even the ones on the scoreboard right now, 38-0. What's paramount for the Canes, whether it's tonight or the next 2 games, at this point is becoming bowl eligible with their 6th win. On the toss, it's James. And James is going to be stopped up at the 17-yard line by Glaspie. 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Mark, that was a nice tackle out there by Byron Glaspie. Also, Antonio Appleby, 58. Good pursuit from the inside. You know, Virginia beat Miami 17-7 last year as well in Charlottesville. So this isn't the first time they've got after the Canes.
4th down and 1. They're going for it again on 4th down. Not much choice.
See Zellner lined up at fullback, Mark, in the backfield.
They give it to James, and he won't get the first down. Virginia will take over on downs. The stop made by Niles. It's been that type of night for the Canes and for the Cavaliers. Back after this.
I started this company with nothing. My parents gave me encouragement. That was all they could give me. Now this company is who I am. And it'll help me deliver on a promise I made to my daughter, to help her start a company that will be who she is.
At John Hancock, we have the insurance, investment, and retirement products to help build, protect, and sustain the future you've promised yourself. John Hancock, the future is yours.
Don't just watch it, live it. Experience the ultimate in high definition with LG Full HD. LG, life's good.
So I asked my dad where he wanted to go for his 60th birthday. Norway, he said, the land of our ancestors. We drank a pint at Ibsen's favorite pub. We sampled the local fare. We got new sweaters. It was the trip of a lifetime, Dad said, until we went to the Hall of Records and discovered we were actually Swedish. 2 tickets to Stockholm, please?
Whatever your story is, their Citi card can help you write it. Citi, let's get it done.
It's alive inside. Please drink responsibly.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by John Hancock, the future is yours, and LG, life's good.
On campus at the University of Miami, an esteemed roll call of outstanding athletes through the years, especially associated with the football program. You talk about programs that have sent players to the NFL. Bob, you documented it earlier. No team has sent more to the National Football League than Miami since the mid to late 80s. On the handoff, 1st and 10, Sewell gives it to his tailback. That's number 5, Simpson.
You know, Mark, that's one thing when you go around the Miami facilities and football complex. Not much as far as facilities. The one thing they do have is that wall of fame where they have all the NFL logos of all the players that have gone on to the NFL. And the bottom line, that's why you need to win at Miami. It sounds funny, but players come here because of winning in the tradition, not the facilities. So all of a sudden, if you stop winning games, you have nothing else to bring the recruits in. They're not going to come here because of the nice practice facilities.
We saw a bunch of recruits on the field before the game, and Michael Simpson breaking one for a first down out near the 32-yard line. The NFL Miami connection and pipeline still continues to flow, just not as freely as it once did. 51 former players currently on rosters in the league, and a staggering 47 first-round picks since 1984.
Wow. They shouldn't have a hard time getting contributions for some new facilities from those guys.
Yeah.
Just give a small percentage.
Randy Shannon's making those phone calls. You know that much. He's trying to make it work. Simpson on the screen pass all day. Pushed out of bounds finally at the 37-yard line with 3 minutes to go. He picked up 30. And with more on Simpson, let's go to Stacy.
Mark, I spent some time with Michael Simpson on the phone this week, and he's a pretty interesting story, actually. In the spring ball, he moved from wide receiver to running back and back to wide receiver, and he said he really kind of felt forgotten. They ended up leaving him at the wide receiver spot, but ironically, a week before that Maryland game that you guys have talked about throughout the broadcast, he found an opportunity when Cedric Pierman got injured, unfortunately, and he told himself, I got to make the most of my opportunities, and he's done just that since, Mark.
Yeah, he really has burst onto the scene over the last 3.5 weeks. This is Payne over the 35.
Mark, that's one thing. When you're a major college football player, don't get hurt. Because there's another guy waiting there. I mean, Michael Simpson, he doesn't sniff the field. If Cedric Pierman, and then they had some other injuries at running back. I mean, he's still sitting on the pine now. So it shows you how you need some good fortune as well.
And you talked about a lot of guys who get overlooked sometimes, even evaluated incorrectly, sometimes by their own even coaching staffs. And I'm not saying that was the case with him, but
no, you're right. I mean, Al Groh didn't know what he was getting when Michael Simpson went in that game against Maryland.
Gain of about 3 on the play by Payne. And let's go to Stan Verrett for a SportsCenter in-game update.
All right, guys, a couple of games in the Big 12 underway right now. Kansas and Oklahoma State. Kansas trying to remain unbeaten. Brandon McAnderson, the big fella, getting there to put the Jayhawks back on top 17-14. They've tacked on another field goal, and it's 20-14 right now in Stillwater. And Oklahoma having no problem with Baylor. Sam Bradford, 3 touchdowns, 341 yards, 24-point lead for the Sooners.
Mark, how about the Cornhuskers putting 73 on Kansas State? It was Kansas State, right?
Yeah.
Put 73 points on Kansas State.
Here's Sewell on the scramble, running well and hit just inside the 20, close to a first down. And speaking of this Virginia offense, they lost their offensive coordinator a year ago, Ron Pinch, who's at Kansas State, whose team got drilled by the Cornhuskers today.
Great point. And how about Al Groh, his son Mike Groh, the offensive coordinator? You don't think that's a unique deal? Mike Groh, 36 years old, played quarterback at UVA. That's interesting. You know, I asked Al, what's it like just as your son is the offensive coordinator? Because that's a lightning rod. I mean, if things don't go well on offense and that's your son calling the offense, I mean, that's an easy target now. That's a lightning rod for those fans.
Ask the Bowdens about that, right? Up at Florida State.
Exactly right. But he's able to separate.
As Simpson is able to separate down to the 11-yard line. Michael Simpson with under a minute to go here in the third quarter.
But you have to love the rhythm, the versatility of this Virginia attack. There are no real superstars on this offense. If you said superstar, maybe one of those offensive linemen. There's a bunch of good players, and they have a quarterback that can run, and the scheme takes advantage of that, Mark.
To think that Al Groh was calling his quarterback Mr. Wax Paper. That's what he said of Sewell after the first game of the season. It's like he had wax paper in front of his face that he couldn't see. Nice play that time by the defensive end, Eric Moncourt making the stop on Simpson. And to see Sewell come back and grow and emerge as one of the leaders of this Virginia team really is a testament to him and the coaching for Virginia. That's the end of the third quarter of play here at the Orange Bowl in the final game here at home for the University of Miami. Next year, they'll move up to Dolphin Stadium. But the moment has been seized by the Cavaliers. They lead when we come back.
ESPN, your NBA destination for games Wednesdays and Fridays all season long.
What are you doing?
Making a call.
To who?
Allstate.
You want to think about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Idiot.
It's just a wiper on the BMW X5. It does what a wiper should do. But this one is different. This wiper talks. You see, when it starts to rain, it tells the brakes to begin drying. And drier may help keep you safer. A wiper that talks. That says a lot. Just one of the countless ideas that makes our X5 an ultimate driving machine.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, we're expanding. We're going to need a lot more stuff. Let's start with servers. Okay. HP ProLiant, IBM, Sun. Oh, good. And networking. Cisco, 3Com. Wow, is there anything you guys don't have?
With over 1,000 top technology brands to choose from, in stock and ready to ship, we're there. CDW.
What do you think about getting some takeout after this?
Love is like candy on a shelf. You want to taste and help yourself. The sweetest things are there for you. Help yourself, take a few. That's what I want you to do. Just help yourself.
Treat yourself to the rich, decadent taste of Diet Dr. Pepper. There's nothing
anything diet about it.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch. Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Why you always get the front?
Because I have the higher point.
Hey. It's Bobby Bond.
I'm gonna touch him.
Now would be a good time to have accident forgiveness. Part of Allstate Your Choice Auto Insurance. Are you in good hands?
38-0. You can't spell Orange Bowl without the O and O's on the scoreboard for Miami. I'm stretching right now, Bob. That pass is going to be ruled incomplete at the 15-yard line by Sewell as we get started here in the fourth quarter of play. And this is the final home game for the Miami Hurricanes in the Orange Bowl after some 468 games over 71 seasons. 21 seniors for the Hurricanes ignominiously making their appearance in their last home game. Very unceremonious so far. And you see Chris Long, Bob, this game has been so easy for them, dare I say, that he's only got 4 tackles.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. That hasn't been the story. This kicker, Chris Gold, he kind of epitomizes this Virginia football team. I jinxed him. I was going to say the improvement he made from last year until this year. I knew I should have saved that story to see if that ball went between those uprights.
He was rolling up until then, as the entire team was, missing from 33. Can't be perfect all the time. Back after this.
Don't just watch it, live it. Experience the ultimate in high definition with LG Full HD. LG, life's good.
Think it's time I told my little bro my rules to live by.
Rules.
Chop. Always get chili on your nachos Bel Grande.
A Taco Bell classic, now topped with chili. New chili cheese nachos Bel Grande, only at Taco Bell.
What's the difference between having fun and having none? The Midas Touch Maintenance Package. An oil change, tire rotation, and 45-point courtesy check. Just $29.95. Be safe.
Trust the Midas Touch.
See anything?
Nope.
Nothing? They always hide them up there.
Nothing good anyway.
Whoa, that's where they are.
Where are you going?
What is going on here?
Whoa, buddy, that's a big no-no.
This holiday, put together gifts they can't wait to get their hands on.
Like Xbox 360, Guitar Hero 3, and Best Buy's exclusive faceplates. That's WOW guaranteed. Only at Best Buy.
The all-new Dodge Grand Caravan.
This ESPN2 telecast is available in striking high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro. The Orange Bowl aglow at night for the last time for the University of Miami Hurricanes, trailing 38-0 here as we start the fourth quarter of play. Kyle Wright still in at quarterback and helpless. That would be the word to describe what's happened to him this week and over the last couple of weeks. Kirby Freeman and Wright.
Mark, the biggest thing, that's a graphic of the quarterbacks. They've had no help. I mean, Miami's pass protection the last several years has really been bad. I mean, that's the bottom line. When you watch their offensive football team, they've really had no pass protection.
Kirby Freeman there on the sidelines. He was 1 of 14 last week. The good news is that one pass went for a touchdown to Darnell Jenkins and 80-plus yards. Cooper between the tackles and stopped up by Chris Long. And Kyle Wright had big hopes going into this season. Although he wasn't the starter to begin the year, he sat for the first 2 games. There's one of his 3 interceptions tonight. And that plays symbolic of the way things have gone. He finally became the starter in the 3rd game of the season, played well through the middle stretch, and then was injured in that win against Florida State. Had a bye week, and then Kirby Freeman took over against North Carolina State and had the 1-for-14 performance right back this week off of the knee and ankle injury.
And it almost seems like his thumb or hand is bothering him a little bit too, Mark. You know, last year he actually broke his thumb, missed the last 4 games. It just seems like his hand has been bothering him a little bit since earlier in the game.
Well, somewhat cursed or jinxed. All right, the 225-pound, 6'4" senior from Napa, California. Now, I'll give Kyle Wright a lot of juice and credit. He has been able to maintain his poise and his class throughout a very frustrating 4 years at the University of Miami. Had an opportunity to meet with him a couple of times, and not once have I seen him point the finger at anybody. Punt bouncing at the 45. It takes a roll in favor of the Hurricanes down to the 33-yard line with 13:07 to go. A 53-yard punt. Bob, Dave, you know what I'm going to do after the game? This is a great neighborhood. I'm going to take you for a nice meal. I'm going to hook you up with a little Cuban coffee down on the block and a little arepa. That's a little cheese and cornmeal. Stace, I got you too. Put it down. Back after this.
Every hero has a choice. Yours is which 3 toppings? Introducing Papa John's Superhero XL3 Pizza. Your choice of any 3 toppings. And 30% larger than our large. It's a super value at just $12.99. Including a $3 off coupon for Spider-Man 3 on DVD. Call or order on the web.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
This is my client. He had a choice, relocate or retire. He didn't want to relocate and didn't think he could retire. So we ran several scenarios through our Envision process. He determined he could retire after all, comfortably. He gave his boss the news. Next day, my phone rings. It's his boss. Guess who else wants to retire? I'm with Wachovia.
Find out your options. Go to envisionyourgoals.com.
Ricky, hey, for the Go Green sales event, we want you to race over a hotbed of coals wearing this.
I don't think so.
Terrible idea. You're fired. Lots of other great ideas.
The Kawasaki Go Green sales event is on. Hurry in to get payments as low as $69 for 24 months on new Kawasaki vehicles. Sale ends December 31st.
Every day, it seems, talk of oil, energy, the environment. Where are the answers? Right now, we're the largest producer of clean, renewable geothermal energy in the world, generating enough energy to power 7 million homes. Imagine that, an oil company as part of the solution. This is the power of human energy.
Outside the Orange Bowl, 14th Avenue and 7th Street here in downtown Miami, a.k.a. Little Havana.
I tell you, a lot of people making money parking cars in their neighborhood here on game night, isn't it?
That's the way it works. It's a real unique venue, Bob.
Yeah, what happens? It says $30 to park here. You're rolling the dice if you don't give the guy $30 now, I promise you.
Hey, you better hope that you don't get blocked.
Yeah. Hey, man, there's some homemade signs advertising those parking, too. I mean, it's not exactly a city ordinance, I don't think, for some of those parking spots.
Yeah, the commissioners aren't getting their cut. It is a real entrepreneurial spirit outside, a robust one outside the Orange Bowl. Inside the Orange Bowl, it has all been Virginia. This is Payne. And Payne out to the 38-yard line. Well, tonight, in stark contrast to the first game ever, as we look outside the Orange Bowl, some of the people obviously departing. They won their first game here back in 1937 against Georgia Southern, 40-0. And then right now tonight, 38-0. Not the way that they wanted to go out. The Florida International team will play a couple of football games here, so there is going to be activity at the Orange Bowl, plus a high school all-star football game, plus a soccer game in the future. They're thinking that perhaps in March, they're looking at the possibility of the place being bulldozed. That pass complete to Stupar. And this still perhaps a site that they're considering maybe for the Florida Marlins. The Marlins still looking for a home to remain in South Florida. They are facing a deadline still for Major League Baseball.
You know, Mark, the game that stands out to me in this stadium is the Kellen Winslow show he put on for San Diego. Humidity, dehydrated, cramping, just kept on catching the football.
And all those other great Dolphin teams with Zonko, Warfield, and Kick. This is Keith Payne, gain of about 5 yards on the play, about 3 yards short of the first down as we approach 11 minutes to go. Bob, remember when they had that ugly-looking turf in here? I mean, it was really bad. It was like cement.
You know, the thing that always stood out to me, and still does, having coached here and been down on the field, a fast track.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is great as far as speed athletes.
Well, they want it fast down here, right?
Exactly right.
It's not like they're going to let it grow.
There's not much grass now. I mean, that's a pretty tight fairway right there.
2nd down and 3. As Sewell hands it off to Payne once again, and Payne brought down at the, well, about the 42-yard line. The good news, though, for Randy Shannon, as you look towards the future, is that I'm told he has some very good commitments from Northwestern High School, the top high school in the country, by the way, which is about 10 minutes from here. They've got the quarterback coming in from there, the offensive lineman, a couple of wide receivers, a linebacker, a defensive lineman from the #1 high school team in the country. So they will not lack for talent. It's just a matter of putting that talent in the right place and getting them some wins. 9:50 to go here in the 4th quarter.
That's their first start.
Timeout on the field, and it's time now to reveal player number 12. That's how far we've gotten in IBM's top 25 greatest players in college football.
IBM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 12, Earl Campbell. This running back punished offenders with a style that hardly befit his nickname, the Tyler Rose. Campbell was selected as the Southwestern Conference Running Back of the Year in each of his 4 college seasons. IBM, getting it done.
I agree with that one.
Was there a more punishing runner?
Mark,
did you see him run that DB over?
Wow, and then he did it with the Houston Oilers. I mean, I love watching Earl Campbell play now.
Here at the Orange Bowl, a close to sellout crowd of about 72,000 showed up tonight, and outside, most of them leaving, disappointedly so.
Direct snap right here to Michael Simpson.
And Simpson takes it over the left side, has room and then some. Another first down near the 30-yard line, picked up 13 on the play. We go back to our IBM list of 25 greatest football players in college football history. I never got over Jim Brown being so far down on the list. You kind of lost me at that point.
Yeah. How about Hugh Green right here? Guy that played at the Dolphins.
Hey, Bob.
The first true speed rushing defensive end. And, you know, that was Jimmy Johnson, who was the defensive coordinator at Pittsburgh back in '77. Hugh Green comes in and starts as a true freshman at about 205 pounds.
Bob, when you brought up Chris Long perhaps being a defensive lineman going to New York. Hugh Green was involved in that conversation back then a little bit, wasn't he? As good as he was back in the day. Simpson, meanwhile, shaken up down in the field. They can't get him hurt, not at this point of the game. And, Bob, at what point do you start pulling your starters like Simpson?
I agree, Mark. I think it's about time. I mean, excellent block right there on Calais Campbell. But, again, you kind of see the versatility of this Virginia offense and different plays to get their best players' hands on the football. I think that's the thing they do the best job of. They may not be the most talented, but if you have talent, they're going to get your hands on the ball, man.
Yeah, they get their touches. That time it was Keith Payne stopped up at the line of scrimmage at the 32-yard line.
You know, I talked to Al Groh before the game. We were talking about how there are no gurus in coaching, and you are always one game from being humbled. And we talked about never enjoying someone else's misfortune or failure because it's one step from coming your way. And he's a sharp guy, and he's done an outstanding job. We look at Michael Simpson on the sideline.
Simpson rushing for 93 yards on 22 carries, a couple of touchdowns tonight. Sewell has done a nice job, too, completing that pass.
A pass is complete.
Emil Sewell really is looking like a big-time quarterback right now, Bob.
Smooth. That's one word, I think. Smooth, a little streaky. But, Mark, has Virginia thrown the ball down the field more than 10 yards all night? I mean, he's 18 for 22, but those 18 completions, they're all little underneath kind of routes. They really don't have a wide receiver that can get down the field.
I think about maybe the only one like that would be the pass to Covington that went for the touchdown earlier. But that might have been more run than pass. 3rd and 9 coming up. Another screen. And he completes it to Payne, and Payne tripped up from behind. And Payne falling forward to the 19-yard line. Calais Campbell, who in his own right an outstanding player, albeit a little bit silent tonight, and conspicuously so. Campbell, team's MVP last season at the University of Miami defensively, actually for the whole team too. He came to school here as a 215-pounder, okay? Has 7 siblings. His brother Jamar is on an academic scholarship at Northwestern. Has another brother that played football at Colorado State. And he has a brother here, Jared, who's a freshman on the team at the University of Miami. Good athletic lineage for Campbell. And this one whistled dead. Flag down on the play. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Stacey Dales down in the field. It's college football primetime on ESPN2, presented by GoDaddy.com. And we're here at the Orange Bowl for the final time as the University of Miami closes the door on the OB after this game.
So where are you taking me tonight, Stacey and I?
I'm taking you guys along 14th Avenue. I got this great little spot on the street corner that sells arepas. It's a blend of cornmeal, melted cheese, and a little bit of pork, and we'll chase that with a little Cuban coffee, which might keep you awake until about 3 o'clock this morning.
Are we riding up there in your Mercedes?
We can roll. That's how I get down, Bob. But it's not a drive-through type of place. You got to understand that. This type of place, you know, we get out. I'll spit a little Spanish out there, and we'll get it all ordered up.
Yeah, Stacey now will wait in the car.
I think Stacey took Spanish at Oklahoma, so I think she might be able to converse with me a little bit. You did, right, Stace? You down with the meal, right?
Mark, I have to travel at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh,
I'm not going to be eating anything you're taking me to tonight.
It's perfect then. A little arepa and coffee. You'll be good to go, Stace. Sleep like a baby.
How about the hardest man working in sports right now? I thought Tirico had the tag, but then I saw you do the San Antonio game NBA Wednesday. You were in the studio last night. Took an early morning flight this morning to get here to Miami. You went home and had your wife baby you all morning and afternoon to get you ready for this tonight.
Somebody's got to fix the train.
I give Sarah a lot of credit because I know you were whining big time when you hit that couch today returning from Bristol.
You know me well, Bob Davie. You know me. Somebody's got to fix the train when the machinery breaks down a little bit. So Sarah got it all fixed up a little bit over a couple of hours back at the crib. Drove up I-75 and got things squared away, and got a chance to get down and visit with the team at the University of Miami a little bit earlier this week on Thursday in between the multitude of games that you so duly pointed out.
Yeah. So you've wrestled that tag away from Tirico, haven't you?
I got that for the love of the sport and for the love of the game clause in the contract.
Well, I know it has nothing to do with money. And doing the more events, the bigger amount of money you get. I know it's about love for sports.
Hey, this is such a great scene. It would be criminal, okay, if I had left my crew and not be able to do this game with you guys here at the University of Miami, because the night started off really with a great vibe outside the stadium. I mean, coming through the crowd, and we had a chance to kind of mingle with a lot of people right around that spot right there, and it was really cracking. It was popping.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? The reception, our stat guy, Stevie LeBeau,
right,
and our spotter, Seth Jacobson, both guys with Miami ties. I mean, they were the big-time guys in this posse coming in here tonight.
Shaking hands with all the security guards.
Oh, man.
You know, they had the key to the Orange Bowl this evening. We were just following in their wake. But you know what? They're painted green and orange, the school colors, and black and blue might be a little bit more appropriate right now. We get a report from Stacy down on the sidelines that Michael Simpson is actually okay. A good time to pull some of these guys maybe if you're Al Groh with 6:20 to go. I had somebody watch the Mercedes, by the way. Sewell running and brought down at the 25-yard line by Willie Cooper. Look at our GoDaddy.com college football primetime game track and some of the cogent, pertinent numbers. Look at the, can I use your telestrator, Bob? Can I just circle that? 417 for a team that is characterized as non-explosive.
Yeah, Mark, also 4 turnovers by Miami and a block punt. I'm not going to say a word about Chris Gold right now.
Not this time. Missed from 33. This one from 41. And Gold is true. 41-0. Sewell painting a Picasso tonight for the Cavaliers. Back with more after this from the Orange Bowl.
I'm Chad Johnson, and I am a GoDaddy customer. As the world's #1 receiver, I want to be with the world's #1 domain registrar, and that's GoDaddy. Whenever I'm not working out, you can find me working on my website. GoDaddy has everything you need to get online. .com names, website builders, hosting, email, you name it. GoDaddy. GoDaddy. .com name for just $1.99. Go get yours and tell them Ocho Cinco sent you.
These KFC triple dip strips are great. Yeah, the sauces really stay in place.
You can dip on the go without the mess.
I can't pass the ultimate test.
Introducing new triple dip strips from KFC for just $2.99. 3 all-white meat crispy strips with 3 dipping sauces held in place so they're easy to eat on the go. Choose from 6 different sauces, including new garlic parmesan. For just $2.99, no one makes it easier to dip on the go than KFC.
Hey, dude. You're just hanging out. I'm watching the game.
Hey, buddy.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you. What's up with your phone?
Nothing?
You need to skin it. Hey, skin that laptop while you're at it.
Sweet.
There's only one way to skin it. Go to skinit.com. Choose your device. Pick your favorite team. The NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and many more. Or create your own at skinit.com.
What am I doing? Skinning it.
Can I get half of that?
You could have just said no.
Sports, collegiate, entertainment, fashion, and more. Go to skinit.com today. What's your skin?
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by GoDaddy.com, world's #1 in .com domains. Make a .com name with us. And in part by KFC's new triple dip strips. No one makes it easier to dip on the go than KFC.
It's the last home game for the University of Miami at the Orange Bowl, and not going the way that they would have scripted it. Down 41-0 with 5:28 to go here in the 4th quarter. Look outside the Orange Bowl at the corner of 7th and 14. The last time Miami lost by this huge a margin was back in 1973 against Auburn, a home shutout to the tune of 44-0. That was Farquharson on the return. Well, tonight, Hawaii, one of 3 unbeaten teams, along with Ohio State and Kansas, host the Fresno State Bulldogs on ESPN2 at 11 p.m. Colt Brennan and the Warriors are vying for a perfect season to keep alive their bowl championship series hopes. Of course, Ohio State lost a little bit earlier tonight against Illinois, so Kansas, one of 2 unbeatens now, along with Hawaii. And boy, Colt Brennan can sling it. With all the touchdowns passes that he has so far this year, his numbers incredibly actually down from a season ago when he had over 50. This is Javaris James run out of bounds.
Mark, you have to start looking now at LSU, Oklahoma, maybe in the national championship game. I mean, West Virginia still kind of hanging around right there. I don't think anyone else can beat.
Yeah.
Oregon also. Oregon's number 2, right?
What about that? Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at Oregon, LSU, Oklahoma, maybe West Virginia. Amazing that Michigan and Ohio State both lost today, but they can still win the Big Ten title Saturday.
It's amazing that things have turned out the way they have this year in college football. Darnell Jenkins out near midfield at the 49-yard line. Darnell Jenkins, one of 21 seniors playing their final home game here for the University of Miami, picked up 14. Jenkins had the only touchdown passing-wise last week for Miami, an 84-yard strike.
The thing you see, Mark, you better have a quarterback, and you better fit your scheme to take advantage of what that quarterback does. That's the most important ingredient in any level of football.
And a sack on the play by Clark. You talked about it before, Bob. Kyle Wright hasn't gotten much help up front from that offensive line. That's the 4th sack of the night for the Cavaliers defense.
Boy, Mark, that's been a continuing problem the last several years. And really, to some degree, the downfall of offensive football here at Miami has been pass protection.
Sets up a 2nd down and 18. All right, will graduate with a double major in business and sports administration. But of little consolation to him right now. Craig Cooper, the freshman, running it, gaining about 3 yards. And we take a look at our All-State standings review. BCS standings. Ohio State losing today against Illinois.
Kansas in a battle at Oklahoma State, at least earlier it was.
Boy, Mangino's done a great job this year, hasn't he? At Kansas, 9-0. Who would have thought they would have been undefeated at this point of the season?
Yeah, Mark, and I guess they're up 26-14 now in Stillwater. Boston College in a big game tonight with Maryland, then next week at Clemson for the other division of the ACC.
Yeah, big things happening in the Atlantic Division as Cooper makes the catch across midfield. 10 yards to go still for the 1st down. And Bob, what about the ACC? The way that things have played out. You look at Virginia against Virginia Tech a couple of weeks from now, and then in the Atlantic Division, things also shaping up to build right to a crescendo at the end of it all.
Yeah, marking the domination of Miami, Florida State that everybody perceived it would be, and even Virginia Tech in that mix.
This is just sloppy now.
It's going to be a touchdown.
And this might set up the biggest home shutout loss ever. Comes back the other way. Cook with the touchdown for the Cavaliers. And Cooper injured.
And Mark, we shouldn't shut this building down this way at the Orange Bowl. That's an unbelievable way to close these doors on Miami football with a performance and an ending like that.
A program still very proud. And right here, a program that once boasted an unparalleled 58-game home winning streak. That seems a very distant memory right now.
Let's take a look. Obviously, the 2nd time tonight, kind of a low snap. Greg Cooper picks it up one-handed.
And it's taken back the other way by number 22. Actually, that's not Glaspie.
That's 26.
That's Cook.
Chris Cook. Didn't play last week against Wake Forest. Some knee and ankle problems. Did come in, injured his hip late in the game, but wow. Second time tonight you've seen kind of a low, hard shotgun snap. Kyle Wright unable to handle it, but does get it handed off, and then they put the ball on the ground.
You know, for a team that had so much to play for tonight, Bob, Miami, in front of a sellout crowd, last game at the Orange Bowl, closing it out after 71 seasons, 468 games, 21 seniors playing their final game, trying to become bowl eligible with that 6th win. It's really disconcerting to think, if you're a Miami supporter, that they could play this way. Kind of frightening as Gold knocks through the extra point. And what looms in the future for the Miami program? Can they get these next 2 games and get 1 win out of it? Virginia dominant.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Rogue with an intelligent key that never has to leave your pocket. And a hands-free Bluetooth phone system. It's a whole new crossover from Nissan. The all-new Nissan Rogue. Game on.
Mom, Dad, you gotta come see.
On November 21st.
Something in the mist.
Comes the one movie that will chill you to the bone.
You think nobody else heard that too? What's that?
And leave you breathless. From the legendary tale by Stephen King.
We have to get out of here.
Daddy, there are things out there.
Discover the secret.
Who knows how far this mist has spread?
Could be the whole world.
Of what lies behind. The Mist, directed by Frank Darabont. Rated R.
The Boston Red Sox have won the World Series title. Celebrate with Sports Illustrated's exclusive championship package, including the official 2007 World Series DVD and SI's limited edition hardcover commemorative book. Relive the Red Sox postseason heroics with these 2 great gifts featuring amazing MLB Productions video and SI's incredible writing and photography. Go to SITVoffer.com or call now to get both free with your paid subscription. 56 issues for only $1.75 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. Use your credit card and you'll also get this set of 3 officially licensed championship baseballs, honoring each step of the Red Sox postseason run. This exclusive set comes with special display stand. Go to SITVoffer.com or call now to get the official DVD, the SI commemorative book, and the collectible baseball set. This limited championship package is only available from Sports Illustrated. Call or go online now.
Well, the look of dejection etched across the countenance of Joe Joseph and his teammates pretty much says it all tonight for the Miami Hurricanes. Not the way that this was supposed to be scripted, looking for their 6th win of the season to become bowl eligible. And mathematically, as this day began, by the way, Miami still had an opportunity to win the division, the Coastal Division, but that seems like a distant memory right now. They trail 48-0. These are the most points that Virginia has scored this season. And this as they kind of took the pedal off the accelerator a little bit in the second half. But the big one for Virginia coming up in a couple of weeks against Virginia Tech. Sewell doing a great job as the choreographer of that offense.
You talk about, there's no better feeling than if you're Al Grove. Flying back tonight to Charlottesville, an open date to get ready for the ACC championship, really against Virginia Tech. And on the other side, does it get any worse than what Randy Shannon is going through right now, Mark Jones?
Yeah, that's probably what it feels like. It's not good right now. Flag down on the play as Duron Thomas gets his first carry of the night. A look at the standings in the ACC's Coastal Division. Both Virginia and Virginia Tech at 5-1 starting the day.
It's 3 straight ACC losses at home.
Yeah. Yep.
In the Orange Bowl for the Hurricanes.
And with a loss tonight, they'll have lost 4 out of their last 5. Bob, how does Randy Shannon reel his team back in for these last 2 games? Because they got to get one of them to become bowl eligible.
Well, Mark, nobody likes getting embarrassed, least of all these players. It's not going to be an effort issue. It's an execution issue. I mean, they didn't execute on offense. They turned guys loose on defense with a frequency I've not ever seen before at Miami. They had a punt blocked. I mean, it's all about execution and practicing and getting better. And I think they need to line up and run the ball from the start of the game to the finish, because right now they can't throw the ball efficiently at all. I mean, they're a mistake team.
You know, Bob, last week, interestingly enough, as Duron Thomas with a nice game for a first down. Last week against North Carolina State, Randy Shannon's team ran for 314 yards. So despite their ineffectiveness in the passing game, they still moved the ball, quote unquote, on offense.
Exactly, Mark. But what happens when you make so many mistakes and you get behind so fast? You really can't run it. It's like give up. They need to start 0-0 and run it from the beginning and execute and just shorten the game a little bit, as crazy as that sounds, because there's no confidence at quarterback at all, and there's no confidence catching the football. I mean, think of the balls they've dropped and batted up in the air. I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, what am I going to say after this game to this football team to keep my football team? Because he's close to losing them right now.
21 seniors playing their final home game here at the Orange Bowl, and Randy Shannon has said, you know, if nothing else, it's important that we get our seniors to a bowl game, and a win tonight would have ensured that pretty much. But now, with two very tough games remaining against Virginia Tech and against Boston College, that sixth win could prove to be tougher than thought to be, and very elusive as Thomas crosses midfield for the Hurricanes with 25 seconds to go.
And Mark, you know, to the fans, if you lose, you lose, and that's all that matters. But as a coach, there is some weight put on how did we play if we lost. But let's be honest, tonight Miami didn't play very well and got soundly beat. I mean, if they'd have come out and executed and played good, you know, it's a little bit easier to dig out of it. But this has been a complete letdown.
Thomas will go down in the books as the guy that had the last carry in the Orange Bowl for the Hurricanes, as the Miami Hurricanes lose this one 48-0, the worst loss ever in Orange Bowl history. They wrote history tonight to close out the OB, as they call it on the block here, but not the type of history that they wanted to write. It was the dubious variety, as Virginia improves to 9-2 overall and sets up the showdown. Up next on ESPN2, it's College Football Scoreboard. For more on this game, turn over to ESPN News. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Along with Bob Davies, Stacey Dales, and our entire gang, I'm Mark Jones. Good night from Miami, and thanks for watching. It has been a heck of a time here down in El Barrio on the block. The last one for the Canes. Now here's Stan Verrett and Jesse Palmer.